Chapter 1535. Naylan nodded. What were those 4 puppets? They were the meritorious members of the God-Fiend Castle. After they died in battle, their souls were protected and nourished in the puppets. After reaching a certain level, their bodies could be reconstructed. Because of this, their battle awareness and skills were still there. The puppets' bodies were also strong. Besides, attacking the body would not be judged as a loss. So, Night Sorrow attacked the area where their souls were located. If it wasn't for the powerful soul protection array set up by the Imperial Preceptor of our God-Fiend Castle, the 4 of them would have been killed a second time, Naylan said. He defeated them with speed, strength, and body strength. To be precise, he killed them. His battle strength is indisputable, but we couldn't see anything, Lenglai said. This is true strength. Heaven Monarch. His personality is not bad. He is outspoken, unlike the other people who came to apply. He is a straightforward person. He even told us his preferences. Elder Naylan's expression could not be seen, but there was joy in his words. That's good. In the future, missions below the Imperial realm will not be difficult for us, Lenglai said. I see. How did he submit his materials? It's pitifully little. Elder Naylan took a sip of tea and said. According to what he wrote for us, 170 years old, Heaven Monarch. Our evaluation is that he passed the assessment in half a cup of tea. He is a Heaven Monarch with top-notch speed and strength. The rest is unknown. Lenglai said. Naylan nodded. However, he planned to add a sentence on his personality and preferences. Night Sorrow returned to the inn. After thinking for a while, he felt that it was not a long-term solution to stay in the inn. There were small villas for sale. He could consider buying one. It would be convenient for him to cultivate and do things. Walking in the ethereal Imperial City, Night Sorrow, who was dressed in a white robe, would look like a weak scholar if it was not for the long spear on his back. He had a strong aura of modesty and peace because it was related to the light of merit. When not in battle, people who were close to Night Sorrow would have such a feeling. They could let go of their inner frustrations. The ethereal Imperial City was too big. Night Sorrow could not estimate how much land it occupied. Even 10 reincarnation cities could not compare to it. After countless years of development, it was normal for the ethereal Imperial City to be unimaginably prosperous. After walking for 4 hours, Night Sorrow found a courtyard for sale on a small street. After asking around, Night Sorrow sighed and bought it for 70,000 Saint Spirit stones. The price was indeed high, but it was also fair. This was Misty City, and a single courtyard was already very rare. The original owner of this place had no choice but to sell it because he needed to gather enough Saint Spirit stones to refine pills. While they were chatting, Night Sorrow found out that the other party was going to concoct an earth-cleansing pill that could change one's physique. It was a pill that could remove impurities from one's body. Refining the earth-cleansing pill requires such a high price? Night Sorrow asked in bewilderment. Yes, I found the main ingredient, but the celestial alchemist asked for 50,000 Saint Spirit stones. I didn't have enough savings, so I had to sell this villa, the original owner of the villa said. Haha. It's fate that we met, and I bought your villa. Give me the main ingredient, and I'll help you refine it, Night Sorrow said with a smile. The Celestial Lord is an alchemist? The man with monarch cultivation looked at Night Sorrow in surprise. Yes, so don't worry. I'll compensate you if the pill is damaged. Night Sorrow nodded. He could understand the man's mentality. He was worried, and he just wanted to form a good relationship. Okay, thank you, Celestial Lord, the man called Yuan Zhao said. After getting the main ingredient of the earth-cleansing pill from Yuan Zhao, Night Sorrow helped to refine the supplementary ingredients. The supplementary ingredients weren't very valuable. Night Sorrow used 2 days to refine a cauldron of earth-cleansing pills. Come take a look. Night Sorrow put the pills into a bottle and threw it to Yuan Zhao. After opening the bottle and taking a look, Yuan Zhao was a little emotional, and his words were a little stuttered. This is it, this is the pill. Okay then keep it. Night Sorrow clapped his hands and put away the cauldron. Night Sorrow could use the 8-dragon cauldron to refine pills, but Night Sorrow didn't want to, because he saw the 8-dragon cauldron as a battle partner. Sir, you're saying that you're giving all of these to me? Yuan Zhao looked at Night Sorrow in disbelief, because he only wanted 1 pill. Yes, I'm giving all of them to you. After selling the rest, You can exchange them for some resources, Night Sorrow said. Thank you, Celestial Lord. I just want half. Yuan Zhao took out another pill bottle and divided the pills into 2 portions. Then, he pushed the storage ring with the Holy Spirit stones that Night Sorrow gave him and half of the pills to Night Sorrow. If you want half, then take half. Why are you taking this out? Keep it. Night Sorrow smiled and threw the storage ring with the Holy Spirit stones back to Yuan Zhao. He felt that Yuan Zhao was a good person with principles. But this isn't appropriate, Yuan Zhao said. There's nothing inappropriate about it. My family won't be coming. If you don't have a suitable place to stay, you can stay here, Night Sorrow said. Thank you, Celestial Lord. My friend and I have a small tavern. We can rest there, Yuan Zhao said. He wasn't used to living with Night Sorrow. Yuan Zhao took his belongings and left. Night Sorrow stayed. He felt that it wouldn't be difficult to find a servant when he had time. There was a slave market in the ethereal imperial city. Night Sorrow took the Holy Spirit stones and set up a formation in the courtyard that was less than 3 square miles. Then, he went to the slave market and bought a pretty girl. After buying the slave, Night Sorrow knew what it meant to be cheap. In this world, human lives were worthless. A Saint King-level female slave only cost 5,000 Holy Spirit stones. After returning to the courtyard, Night Sorrow looked at the girl named Lu Yun. The room on the side of the gate is yours. I won't go there. You are responsible for the cleanliness of the courtyard. Don't worry about anything else. I don't have any requirements for you. Just do your own thing and cultivate. When the time is right, I will give you your freedom, Night Sorrow said. Thank you, Celestial Lord. Lu Yun cupped her hands, but her eyes secretly glanced at Night Sorrow. A servant's everything belonged to her master. Her soul was sealed, and her life and death were in the master's control. Although she was a servant, many people had a tacit understanding of what they wanted to do with a female slave. After giving his instructions, Night Sorrow left the courtyard and went to the street. He wanted to see if he could buy some ancient books. Night Sorrow also wanted to know more about alchemy and artifact forging. Night Sorrow actually managed to buy alchemy and artifact forging manuals. Although they were common goods, Night Sorrow still studied them seriously and matched them with his own knowledge. Only then could he improve. Night Sorrow studied while waiting for the mission instructions from the God-Fiend Castle. Chapter 1536. There were countless resources on the Divine Devil Castle's exchange list. As long as one could think of it, it would be there. There was even the Golden Dragon's blood essence, which was a treasure that could strengthen one's blood, flesh, and bones. There was also a note stating that when the Great Guardian of the Divine Devil Castle and the Golden Dragon fought, both sides were injured. However, the Great Guardian of the Divine Devil Castle had also collected the Golden Dragon's blood essence. Powerful. Night Sorrow couldn't help but think of the word powerful. The Golden Dragon was the most powerful existence among the divine beasts. The fact that the Divine Devil Castle's people dared to fight was proof of their strength. Regardless of whether they won or lost, it was a fact that they had obtained the blood essence. In addition, Night Sorrow also felt that this record couldn't be fake. After all, high-level cultivators wouldn't bother to fabricate anything. They could accept the outcome of a battle. The Golden Dragon's blood essence could cure the evil dragon flame in Wu Lingfei's body. But Night Sorrow knew that he couldn't afford the price. There was a note on the back of the Golden Dragon's blood essence. The exchange point requirement was 6 million. Night Sorrow had never done a mission before, so he didn't know if it was easy to earn points. However, 6 million was definitely not easy. If it was easy, it wouldn't be here. Everyone knew that resources were only resources when they were used. Night Sorrow shook off his thoughts and began to study alchemy. He had a lot of materials. It could be said that other than monarch-grade materials, he had all kinds of grade 8 materials. After studying for a few days, Night Sorrow understood the mainstream elixirs used by cultivators in the celestial realm. The elixir that aided cultivation was the Junyuan elixir. The more powerful elixir was the Junhua elixir that could raise King's cultivation by 1 level. As the name implied, it could raise one's cultivation to a higher level. The elixir that aided soul cultivation was the spirit cultivating elixir. The most effective elixir was the heavenly spirit elixir. These were the 4 mainstream elixirs. Night Sorrow also looked at the elixirs and found that they could be used to refine the Junyuan elixir and the spirit cultivating elixir. Night Sorrow did not have the ingredients for the Junhua pill, but he had enough ingredients for 2 batches of the Heaven Spirit pill. Night Sorrow had the main ingredient, the spirit root grass. Night Sorrow planned to set up a stall and earn some resources. While waiting for the quest, there was a limit to what his avatar could do. With this idea in mind, Night Sorrow went to the night market and found someone to rent a place. It wasn't a big place, only about 30 square meters in total. There were stalls in the front, and a place to rest and drink tea at the back. However, the rent was very expensive. It cost 2,000 Saint Spirit Stones a day. Do it. Renting a house was expensive, but Night Sorrow still had to do it. Night Sorrow planned to continue honing his alchemy skills and raise his alchemy skills to the peak of rank 8. This way, when his cultivation reached the Emperor realm, he would be able to concoct the Monarch pill. With Lu Yun in tow, Night Sorrow rented the stall and wrote a plaque for Night Sorrow. Concocting any pill below the Emperor realm required 3 sets of ingredients and 1 set of finished product. Failure to do so would be double the price. Lu Yun, hang this up in front, Night Sorrow said. Waffa! Sir, is this appropriate? Sir, you wrote that any pill that meets a problem will lose money. Also, this kind of plaque will easily attract trouble, Lu Yun said. It's fine. Hang it up. You don't have to call me sir in the future. Be casual. My surname is Night. Just call me young master. Night Sorrow nodded at Lu Yun. He had no intention of taking back the plaque. This night market was very lively. There were many people selling pills. If you didn't have a good plaque, who would come looking for you? As for losing his job, Night Sorrow had his own considerations. What kind of world was this? Survival of the fittest. If one wanted to live a good life, they needed to be capable. If one had the ability, why would they have to look at others' faces and decide whether to use it? This wasn't Night Sorrow's philosophy. Life depended on one's ability. Seeing Night Sorrow's firm attitude, Lu Yun hung up the plaque. She was just a servant. She would do whatever Night Sorrow said. After the plaque was hung up, people immediately came to watch. Night Sorrow's plaque was very arrogant. It could concoct any pill. One had to know that other stall owners usually focused on 1 or 2 types of pills that they were good at. However, Night Sorrow was different. He wanted to concoct all of them. Furthermore, the cost of concocting pills was very low. There was even compensation for failure. Normally, when alchemists accepted a task, failure was failure. At most, they wouldn't earn anything. It was rare for alchemists to ask for compensation. Among the onlookers, there were 2 heaven monarchs. They were also in the pill business. At this moment, their expressions didn't look good. Call your boss out, a heaven monarch with a goatee said. Lu Yun nodded. She was about to return to the back hall when Night Sorrow came out. What's the matter? Night Sorrow looked at the heaven monarch and asked. I'm heaven monarch Lin Mu. Fellow Taoist, you're too arrogant. You can use methods to do business, but you can't mess up the situation, heaven monarch Lin Mu said. Whether I'm arrogant or not, I'll use my strength to speak. When doing business, I naturally have to attract business. I can't mess up the situation. Don't tell me I'm not going to hang up my plaque and sit here and drink the northwest wind. Those who want to concoct pills, place your orders. Those who don't want to concoct pills, I won't accompany you. After saying Night Sorrow, he went back to the back. In fact, it was a relatively casual wooden pavilion with a screen in the middle. Miss, that guy is very arrogant. I feel that he's trying to mess up the situation. 2 women were standing beside an antique stall and watching the quarrel. One of them said, You can't say that. When doing business, there is naturally competition. If you don't attract business, you might as well go back and drink tea and sleep. However, the premise is that you have to have strength. The woman in a white dress with a long sword in her hand said, Miss, don't you want to find someone to concoct the heaven spirit pill? Why don't you just find him? The woman in red clothes with a humble attitude said, Are you stupid? The materials for the heaven spirit pill are very rare. If he fails, can he afford it? Compensate with sacred spirit stones? Do I lack sacred spirit stones? The woman called Miss said, I can still afford the heaven spirit pill. Just tell me what you want. Night Sorrow walked out from the back hall. The 2 women's voices were not soft, so he naturally heard them. Take the initiative to attract customers. The woman with the long sword came to Night Sorrow's stall. At this time, the onlookers retreated a little. Night Sorrow looked at the woman. He knew that this woman had a status. Otherwise, the others would not have retreated. The cultivation of a heaven monarch was not that big of a deterrent. The long spear on your back is not bad. If you fail, give it to me. The woman in white said. Very mean. You want to concoct the heaven spirit pill. If I fail, I will naturally pay you double the materials. Now, I don't need the materials. I will compensate you with the finished product. This is the heaven spirit pill. If Miss feels that it is not enough, this is the spirit replenishing pill. It is more valuable than your heaven spirit pill. This is the earth cleansing pill. If I fail, you can choose double the price. Night Sorrow took out a few types of pills. The pills were wrapped in energy and floated in front of him. Then, he waved his hand and kept the pills. At this time, the woman in white looked at Night Sorrow with a serious expression. All the pills that Night Sorrow took out were rare and were worth no less than the heaven spirit pill. Chapter 1537. Lu Yun. Stay here and take care of things. I'll refine the pills first. Yi Shang took the storage ring and checked the contents of the storage ring without restrictions. He wanted to confirm if the materials were correct. Where are you going? You won't run away with the materials, will you? The maid beside the white-clothed woman shouted. Night Sorrow glanced at the maid and went into the back hall. He took out the alchemy furnace and began refining. Aura and temperament determine one's success. Some people have nobility in the depths of their souls that you will never understand. A screen couldn't stop others from inspecting, but Night Sorrow's refining technique was extremely fast. Even the people inspecting couldn't see how he was refining. The Heavenly Spirit Pill was a high-grade Tier 8 pill. It was more troublesome to refine. Even though Night Sorrow had refined it before, it still took him nearly a day to finish. After taking a look, Night Sorrow was quite satisfied because the quality was good. After putting away the alchemy furnace, Night Sorrow divided the pills into 2 bottles and put away the extra materials. He then went to the front desk and placed the 6 bottles of Heavenly Spirit Pills on the table. You clearly refined 2 bottles, the white-clothed woman's maid said. You don't have to say anything. 1 set of 6 medicinal pills. I'll give you 6. As for whether or not I can concoct 60 pills, that's my problem, said Yi Shang coldly to the maidservant. She was clearly going overboard. Ah Yen, don't say anything. The woman in white stopped the maidservant who was about to speak because there were 6 medicinal pills in 1 set. After stopping the maidservant, the woman in white opened the medicinal pill bottle and took out one of the pills. After looking at it, her eyes lit up. After looking at the pill, the white-clothed woman took out the materials again. There are 6 sets of Heavenly Spirit Pill materials here. I still need to refine 2 more sets. After putting away the materials, Night Sorrow returned to the back hall and brewed a pot of tea to relieve his emotions. Then, he took out the alchemy furnace and continued refining. Originally, he needed to refine 2 batches of these pills, but the first batch of Night Sorrow had 3 pills in stock. In addition to the 9 pills from the new batch, he had a total of 12 pills. After filling 2 bottles of Night Sorrow, he handed the pills to the white-clothed woman. The quality of the pills is not bad. In just 2 days, you've earned 7 sets of ingredients for the Heavenly Spirit Pill, the woman in white said. This is robbery. The maid of the woman in white said. Miss, did you suffer a loss? What's the price for finding someone else to refine 3 sets of pills? Night Sorrow asked. You didn't lose out. The woman in white looked at Night Sorrow and nodded. There were some facts that couldn't be denied. That's right. This is an open transaction. I'm not lying to anyone. I can live a good life because I have paid a price. You can only see the gains in front of you, but you don't see the price I paid. Do you still want to refine pills? If not, don't interfere with my business. Night Sorrow turned and walked to the back hall. He didn't like the attitude of these people. My words were a bit rude. I'm sorry. I'll come find you tomorrow, the woman in white said to Night Sorrow's back. After pausing for a moment, Night Sorrow continued to the back hall and organized the ingredients for the Heavenly Spirit Pill. The other stall owners also left. Although some were angry, They couldn't do anything to Night Sorrow. However, some people were also jealous. 7 sets of ingredients for the Heavenly Spirit Pill were too expensive and rare. After returning to the back hall, Night Sorrow understood that the woman in white had a background. Ordinary people couldn't take out so many ingredients for the Heavenly Spirit Pill, but he didn't want to have anything to do with them. The woman in white and her maid, Yen, walked some distance away and sat in a flying car. "Miss, is there a problem with the pills?" Yen asked. "No problem. The quality is very high. It's better than Heavenly Master Lin's. It's almost as good as Scorching Sun Emperor Master's," the woman in white said. "Is it really that good? I wonder where this guy popped out from?" Yen said with some astonishment. "Don't say things like that. You made him unhappy today. I even have a feeling that he won't take our business next time," the woman in white said. "He dares." Yen glared. "There's nothing he doesn't dare to do." The woman in white shook her head. The woman in white was the little princess of the Azure Waterhouse, Jiang Yu. She had a lot of power, but she knew that a lone cultivator like Night Sorrow wouldn't buy it. Yi Shang started to get busy. Everything was difficult at the beginning, but once the first step was taken, everything would be easy. Yi Shang quickly refined the Heavenly Spirit Pill, proving his strength. Moreover, the fee he charged was reasonable. When other stall owners refined pills, they had to pay 2 sets of materials. These were the basic materials. There were other fees. If the refinement failed, they wouldn't take any responsibility. If the refinement was successful, they had to pay extra. The minimum cost was 30 to 20,000 Saint Spirit stones. The higher the cost, the more ridiculous it was. Just like Yuan Zhao, he had to go bankrupt just to refine pills. Night Sorrow's business was booming. The other stall owners were jealous. However, they couldn't do anything about it. Night Sorrow had the strength. Trouble? Night Sorrow was a heaven monarch. He wasn't afraid of fighting. If they started a fight, they would be the ones at a disadvantage. It could even be said that as long as Night Sorrow shouted, the patrol team would come and they would be in trouble. They also knew that the woman Night Sorrow was doing business with was this generation's manager, a member of the House of Azure Water. There was a symbol on the cuffs of her white dress. Night Sorrow was happy that business was good. He took orders and earned materials. This was the fastest way to accumulate resources. With the refinement of pills, Night Sorrow became famous in this area. His business was getting better and better. However, it took a long time to refine high-grade pills. He could only take 1 order a day. However, this order was worth tens of thousands of Saint Spirit stones. Supreme-grade pills were priceless. After Jiang Yu returned to the Azure Waterhouse, she entered the main hall. A middle-aged man was sitting in the hall. The middle-aged man had a stocky build. His eyes were bright. He was sitting on a big chair. He was one of the 7 house lords of the ethereal imperial city, Jiang Tianheng. Why did you come to see me? Didn't you run out?" Jiang Tianheng smiled. "I'm back. Father, I don't want to ask the Scorching Sun Emperor teacher to refine pills for me," Jiang Yu said. "What's wrong? Are you complaining that I didn't help you find him? The Scorching Sun Emperor teacher is in seclusion." "I didn't go," Jiang Tianheng stood up and said. "No, I just don't think it's worth it to owe someone a favor just to refine pills of higher quality." Jiang Yu shook her head. "Then let Heavenly Master Lin refine pills for you. He's not bad among the Heavenly Master alchemists," Jiang Tianheng said after pouring himself a cup of tea. "It's not like that. Father, I met an alchemist who is very skilled in alchemy. Take a look at the Heavenly Spirit Pill he refined." Jiang Yu went to his father's side and took out the bottle containing the Heavenly Spirit Pill. Jiang Tianheng opened the bottle and took out 1 pill to study. "Not bad. The color and the purity of the energy are very good. Where did you find this alchemist?" Chapter 1538. You still have a childish temper. Just tell me where you found him. I will return the favor." Jiang Tianheng said. He thought his daughter was angry. "Father, I really met him on the side of the road. He set up a stall on Treasure-Seeking Street. Because his signboard was very arrogant, there was some friction with others. I tried to ask him to refine it, and the result did not disappoint." Jiang Yu said with a smile. She was also very happy. There is such a thing. There are materials in the warehouse. You can go and get them. Just ask him. But the price should not be low. It's okay. I will help you pay whatever you need. Jiang Tianheng said. That bastard's price is 3 sets of materials and 1 set of elixir. But he made a lot of money. I gave him 9 sets of materials. He used 2 sets to refine 3 sets of elixir, which means he earned 7 sets of materials. According to his ability, 7 sets of materials can refine more than 10 sets of elixir. He made a lot of money. Jiang Yu said. That's his ability. From our point of view, 3 sets of materials and 1 set of elixir is not excessive. Jiang Tianheng said. Well, so if we can ask him to refine elixir, we don't need to ask Scorching Sun Emperor Tutor and owe him a favor. Jiang Yu said what she meant. Jiang Tianheng nodded. He didn't want to owe anyone a favor. Night Sorrow received orders to refine elixir every day and earned a lot of materials. People were afraid of being famous. As long as you had the strength, you would naturally be recognized by more people. Night Sorrow originally wanted to call Datura, who had nothing to do. But he felt that there might be people looking for trouble. It was still very dangerous, so he gave up. A month later, Night Sorrow refined all the mainstream elixirs in the celestial realm. While improving his proficiency in refining elixir, he accumulated a lot of materials. Facts spoke louder than words. Night Sorrow used his ability to refine elixir to shut the other stall owners up. No one looked for trouble. Night Sorrow refined special elixir. If they couldn't refine it, they would ask for help. Night Sorrow would not refuse people with a humble attitude. He was not stingy with his answers. That night Sorrow had just finished refining a furnace of pills when Jiang Yu arrived. I want to concoct the Heavenly Spirit Pill and the Junhua Pill, Jiang Yu said. Sorry, I'm a little tired. I won't be taking orders today, Night Sorrow said. You're doing business. Isn't it good to have business? Jiang Yu was surprised to hear Night Sorrow's rejection, even though he was mentally prepared. From what you said the other day, I can tell that you think I'm unscrupulous. If 3 sets of ingredients for 1 set of pills is considered unscrupulous, then I'd rather not do business. I might as well refine pills for others for free. Night Sorrow put away the alchemy furnace, planning to pack up and go home. I'll come over tomorrow. Jiang Yu smiled and stopped a Yen who was about to speak. She knew that if a Yen said something unpleasant, Night Sorrow would really not accept her business. After returning to the courtyard, Night Sorrow wrote a new signboard. Buying rank 9 cultivation techniques, rank 9 pill recipes, rank 9 weapon refining techniques, and rank 9 array diagrams. Those who use the above resources will have priority. Night Sorrow did not know if he would be able to buy anything good. He did not need to use ordinary things, but he could use them for reference. However, others could study them. The next day, Night Sorrow went to his stall and hung up the new signboard. Many people were stunned when they saw the signboard. Night Sorrow was asking for an inheritance. Jiang Yu came and was also surprised when she saw the signboard. She pondered for a while and said, I have a rank 9 weapon refining technique. It's an inheritance for refining monarch weapons. What price can you pay? What price do you want? Night Sorrow asked. Help me refine 50 sets of pills for free, Jiang Yu said. It's not impossible. I want to see if your weapon refining technique inheritance is high enough. If it's possible, then we'll make a deal. If it's not, then I won't study your alchemy inheritance. Don't worry, a gentleman keeps his promise, Night Sorrow said after thinking for a while. Okay. Jiang Yu took out a jade slip and handed it to Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow knew that the jade slip recorded some inheritance information. It was much more advanced than ancient books and handbooks. Using his soul power, he received a lot of information. After studying it, Night Sorrow nodded and said, If there are no special circumstances, I'll refine a set of pills for you every 3 days. The deal will be over in 5 months. Why 1 set of pills every 3 days? Jiang Yu frowned and said, Because I want to do business. I can't stop doing business just because you're a customer. Yi Shang told Jiang Yu the details of the trade, and then added another piece of information that made Jiang Yu's jaw drop. To refine weapons and armors below monarch level, prepare 3 sets of materials or resources of the same price. You're also a weapon refining master? Jiang Yu was shocked. It was difficult for a cultivator to be successful in one direction. Night Sorrow had proven his alchemy ability, and now he was playing with weapon refining. Give me the materials. I'll start refining it for you now, Yishan said. Here are the materials for 10 sets of Junhua pills. Jiang Yu took out a storage ring. You still need Junhua pills? Night Sorrow looked at Jiang Yu in surprise. Jiang Yu was also a heaven monarch. It was normal for her to use heaven spirit pills. However, Junhua pills were useless. I'll give them to my guards, Jiang Yu said. I won't calculate the failure rate for you. Here are 5 sets of Junhua pills. Don't come to me for half a month. After half a month, come back and get the remaining 5 sets. Night Sorrow sorted out the Junhua pills that he had refined over the past few days and gave them to Jiang Yu. This was the feeling that Night Sorrow gave Jiang Yu. Night Sorrow didn't give her any face at all. Princess Yu, are you here to refine pills too? At this moment, a man and a woman appeared in front of Night Sorrow's stall on Treasure-Seeking Street. What are you two doing in my House of Azure Waters territory? Jiang Yu squinted at them. I heard that a top-notch weapon refining master appeared on Treasure-Seeking Street, so I came to take a look, the woman said. Gong Xianyu, are you here to poach him? Jiang Yu's eyes were filled with vigilance. Haha, Princess Yu is smart. However, your words are too harsh. I'm not here to poach him. I'm Gong Xian of Guanyue Mansion. I'd like to invite Weapon Refining Master to Guanyue Mansion as a guest. Gong Xianyu cupped his hands at Night Sorrow. 5 starters Night Sorrow Yu cupped his hands in return. Thank you for your attention. However, I'm fine with my current situation. If you have any requests for refining pills or weapons, I'm willing to help. Weapon Refining Master Yi is too polite. A talent like you should be respected, Gong Xianyu said with a smile. Gong Xianyu, that's enough. Your Majesty is discussing business with Weapon Refining Master Yi. Why are you causing trouble? Do you think this is a place for you to be arrogant? Jiang Yu waved her arm and shot a beam of energy into the sky. Then, there was the sound of something breaking through the air. 2 groups of people quickly arrived. Chapter 1539. There's no need for that. My stall is right here. If you need anything, you can come at any time. I'll do my best to fulfill it, Night Sorrow said. He could see that both sides were in an awkward situation. Gong Xianmoon didn't expect Jiang Yu to directly call for a fight. If they fought, she would be at a disadvantage and lose face. From Jiang Yu's point of view, if Gong Xianmoon brought this matter to the City Lord's mansion, it would be tantamount to causing trouble for her father. This place is not bad. You're here. Jiang Yu will protect you. Whoever dares to cause trouble for you can try. Jiang Yu glanced at Gong Xianmoon and said, Miss, please calm down. You should know that I have my own way of life. Please understand. If you don't mind, please come in and have some tea. Night Sorrow cupped his hands at Jiang Yu and Gong Xianmoon. After glancing at Gong Xianmoon, Jiang Yu waved her arm at Yen and the other patrol members before entering the back hall. Miss Gong, please come in as well. Night Sorrow nodded at Gong Xianmoon. After entering the back hall, Night Sorrow invited the two to sit down and then brewed a pot of tea. It's not a big deal. Sit down and have a cup of tea calmly. Celestial Master Knight, with your alchemy skills, you don't need to live in the marketplace, do you? Gong Xianmoon looked at Night Sorrow and asked. Everyone's choice is different. I like to live an unrestrained life. If I join a sect or a force, don't I need to be considerate? I still have my scruples, so I won't consider it. Night Sorrow Moon said with a smile. His words were once again rejected. I'll look for you after I finish refining my elixirs. Also, help me refine 10 elixirs and I'll give you a shop. Jiang Yu said. She had met many people and understood that Night Sorrow Moon was a rare talent with such attainments in alchemy at such a young age. She didn't want him to be taken away by Gong Xianmoon. Good. Since everyone has calmly sat down to talk, this can be considered as giving me face. In the future, if the 2 young ladies have any medicinal pills that you need to refine, this one will consider it first. Night Sorrow poured 2 cups of tea for the 2 of them. After drinking tea, Jiang Yu and Gong Xianyue left. There was no more conflict. Yi Shang had given them a way out of this situation. At this moment, Lin Mu came over. He had interacted with Night Sorrow for the past few days, and their initial conflict had been resolved. They could be considered friends. After all, the beginning of the conflict was not wrong from the perspective of both sides. Brother Lin Mu is here. Come and have a cup of tea, it's not bad. Night Sorrow poured a cup of tea for Lin Mu and greeted him. Celestial Master Yi, those two women are very powerful. Be careful when you interact with them. Otherwise, you will be in big trouble, Celestial Master Lin Mu said. Then Celestial Master Lin Mu told Night Sorrow about Jiang Yu and Gong Xian Yu's background. The Misty Imperial Dynasty was very powerful and had a vast territory. The person with the highest authority was the Misty Battle Emperor, followed by the elders in the city, and then the Misty Seven Prefectures. The Misty Seven Prefectures ruled the territory of the Misty Imperial Dynasty, and were divided into 7 regions. They were the rulers of the 7 regions. Similarly, within the Misty Imperial City, the Misty Battle Emperor had also given them a region to manage. The Azure Water Prefecture and Guanyue Prefecture were 2 of the prefectures. The 2 of them can mention the Azure Water Prefecture and Guanyue Prefecture the moment they open their mouths. I presume that their status and position in their respective forces is not low, Night Sorrow said. Definitely. The Azure Water Prefecture Lord's surname is Jiang, and the woman who came a while ago is called Jiang Yu. The Guanyue Prefecture Lord's surname is Gong, and the woman who came later is called Gong Xian Yu. Based on their surnames, they should be core members, Celestial Master Lin Mu said. It seems like it won't be easy to eat a peaceful meal. Many thanks for Brother Lin Mu's reminder. Night Sorrow cupped his hands towards Celestial Master Lin Mu. Celestial Master Lin Mu stayed for a while before leaving. Night Sorrow had given him pointers on alchemy, and he was very grateful in his heart. Being able to give Night Sorrow a few pointers, he felt that he had done his part. Young Master, why don't we pack up and run away? With Young Master's alchemy skills, you can do well anywhere. Lu Yun was a little worried. Don't be afraid. Let's do what we need to do. You still need to practice brewing tea. Only with a steady heart can you brew tea that has an artistic conception and flavor. Night Sorrow looked at Lu Yun and said. After packing up, there was nothing to do today, so Night Sorrow planned to go back and rest. In this regard, Night Sorrow was different from the other vendors on Treasure Seeking Street. The King and Celestial Master Lin Mu didn't need to rest at all. They had been setting up their stalls for a long time. Lu Yun had also asked about this, and Night Sorrow had his own opinion. Working at sunrise and resting at sunset was the law of nature. This kind of life helped to cultivate one's heart and relieve the pressure of daily life. Lu Yun was very glad that Night Sorrow was very easygoing. If she had any questions, Night Sorrow would answer them, giving her enough respect. In the past, when she was in the slave market, she didn't even dare to think about it. After returning to the courtyard, Night Sorrow pondered for a moment. He felt that he could first complete Jiang Yu's alchemy list so that he could hand it over at any time. The Clear Sky God Pagoda wasn't by his side, but Night Sorrow still had a time acceleration magic treasure. It was the 5-time spatial magic treasure that he had bought for Sky City. After entering the spatial magic treasure, Night Sorrow began to speed up the refining process. One night passed. Night Sorrow had refined for 2.5 days in the time acceleration magic treasure. He had refined 3 batches and was only a bit away from 5 batches. However, it didn't matter. He just had to work overtime once more. After Night Sorrow and Lu Yun arrived at the stall, they continued to take orders. This time, they took orders for both alchemy and blacksmithing. Night Sorrow improved his blacksmithing skills according to the blacksmithing inheritance that Jiang Yu had given him. Night Sorrow took an average of 1 day to refine the monarch weapon, and the customers were satisfied. Night Sorrow's business was very good. Many people looked for Night Sorrow for blacksmithing and alchemy, but Night Sorrow was too busy. He only took 1 or 2 orders a day. Sometimes, Heavenly Lord Lin Mu would come to help. He could refine high-level elixirs, but he was helpless because people didn't want Heavenly Lord Lin Mu to refine them. Therefore, Heavenly Lord Lin Mu could only be an assistant. This bastard made a lot of money, but he didn't do anything to us, Ayen said. He won't lose his credibility. Let's wait and see. This guy is really good, Jiang Yu said after taking a sip of wine. She and Ayen were sitting in the restaurant opposite Night Sorrow's stall. At this time, in a mansion in the moon-gazing prefecture area, a man handed a long sword to Gong Xianyu. Gong Xianyu looked at it and handed it to an old man beside him. Then I'll take a look first. The old man took the long sword and began to examine it carefully. After a while, the old man held the long sword with both hands and handed it to Gong Xianyu. The method used to refine this long sword is very special. It has time and space arrays, but it's different from our usual refining methods. I've never seen it before, but I'm sure that this long sword will increase speed and affect space and time. The person in charge said that it's a rare supreme grade item. A supreme grade elixir and a supreme grade monarch weapon. We still have to fight for this person. Someone, find out where he came from, Gong Xianyu said. Chapter 1540. On this day, Night Sorrow was refining when his sleeve started to vibrate. Night Sorrow looked down and knew that it was the God Devil Castle's token that was vibrating. He quickly shaped the battle saber in his hand and stopped the refinement. Brother, I have urgent matters to attend to, so I will stop the refinement of this battle saber for now. Here are 50,000 Saint Spirit Stones. I will give it to you as a guarantee. Once I return, I will work on it immediately. Night Sorrow took out a storage ring and handed it to the waiting customer. No need. I believe in Celestial Master Night. I will just wait here. The man refused because Night Sorrow's reputation was very good now. No, there needs to be rules and regulations. Take it. Lu Yun, you keep an eye on this place. When I'm not here, don't take orders. After saying that, Night Sorrow left the stall with a few flashes. This made Jiang Yu, who was drinking in the restaurant opposite, very surprised. During this period, Night Sorrow had been very stable and lived a life of 2 jobs. But now, he seemed to be in a hurry. Not only Jiang Yu, but Gong Xianmoon also came back with a guard. It was the same guard from last time. When she saw Night Sorrow's back view, she was also very surprised. Follow him. Gong Xianmoon whispered to the man beside her. Yes, princess. Don't worry. The white-robed man nodded and left in a different direction. Gong Xianmoon was very confident in her subordinate. He was the #1 heaven monarch in Guanyue Prefecture. He had countless combat skills that could kill heaven monarchs and was called Ghost Monkey. X most D new. Chapter 6, Part 2. Night Sorrow increased his speed and shuttled back and forth on the streets. At the same time, he increased the detection of his soul spirit power. He was worried that someone was following him. When he was some distance away from the God Devil Castle, Night Sorrow discovered Ghost Monkey. Frowning, Night Sorrow's body arced as he turned around and flew towards the Ghost Marquis. Ghost Monkey was stunned for a moment but didn't dodge. He knew that Night Sorrow had discovered him and there was no point in dodging. I know you're from Guanyue Manor. Tell your young miss not to investigate me. It's meaningless. Night Sorrow glanced at Ghost Monkey and left in a flash. The Ghost Monkey did not continue to follow him. Since he had already been discovered, there was no point in continuing to pester him. After checking again and confirming that no one was following him, Night Sorrow entered the God Fiend Castle. As soon as Night Sorrow entered the castle, Elder Naylan appeared and brought Night Sorrow into the castle. Elder, what's the mission? After sitting down, Night Sorrow asked. Assassination mission. Kill a person. Elder Naylan said after opening the door. Assassination mission. I didn't think that the first assassination mission would be this kind of assassination mission. Is the other party's character bad? Night Sorrow asked. The God Fiend Castle's mission was not compulsory. One could accept or reject it. However, after rejecting it 3 times, one's name would be removed because the God Fiend Castle would think that one was unsuitable to develop in the God Fiend Castle. Yes, but you're overthinking it. So what if his character is not bad? If others want to kill him, then there's a reason to kill him. It's because he had a problem with his character that caused him to be killed. We're just the executors. Lang Lai said after appearing. If his character is not good, then I'll accept it. Mission objective and details. Night Sorrow said. Luo Fei, the young prefecture lord of the Umbra Prefecture, which is one of the 7 prefectures in Ethereal City. He has already left Ethereal City and is heading to Devil Shadow City. He is a Heaven Monarch himself and has 2 Heaven Monarch bodyguards. The duration of the mission is 3 days. Elder Nalan handed a crystal ball and a mission list to Yi Chong. Okay, I'll leave right away. Knight Sorrow took the crystal ball and mission list and stood up. Leave your identity token and communication token behind. During the mission, you will have nothing to do with the God Fiend Castle. If you fail, then it's your own problem. Don't think that the God Fiend Castle will do anything for you. You know the consequences of leaking information. Lang Lai looked at Knight Sorrow and said, I understand. Knight Sorrow left his gold token and crystal token behind and left the God Fiend Castle. At the teleportation array, Knight Sorrow began to teleport to Devil Shadow City. Knight Sorrow was still a little nervous since it was his first mission. He had to succeed. If he failed, then he would have to leave the God Fiend Castle. Then, the high-level resources of the God Fiend Castle would have nothing to do with him. After arriving at Devil Shadow City, Knight Sorrow hurried towards the City Lord Manor. He knew that as the young Lord of Shadow Manor, he was one of the highest echelons of Shadow Manor. Once he arrived, there would definitely be subordinates to receive him. Walking in the city, Knight Sorrow investigated the situation. If he wanted to kill someone, then he would have to consider whether or not there were any great Emperor Realm cultivators around. If there were, then he would have to wait and assassinate someone in front of a great Emperor Realm cultivator. Not to mention, the mission was very difficult to complete. Devil Shadow City and Green Shadow City were about the same size. Knight Sorrow approached the City Lord Manor and didn't find any great Emperor Realm cultivators. However, he did find Luo Fei. Luo Fei's image and aura were in the crystal ball. Knight Sorrow easily identified him. To ensure his safety, Knight Sorrow carefully searched the City Lord Manor. After confirming that there were no great Emperor Realm cultivators around, he decided to make his move. Without the interference of great Emperor Realm cultivators, Knight Sorrow wasn't afraid of any battle. In a secluded corner, Knight Sorrow put on his mask and waved his arm. The Space Splitter Spear used the Void Extreme Point Kill, piercing a small hole in space. It was only the size of a finger. Knight Sorrow's body flashed and entered the 8-Dragon Cauldron. Before the hole closed, he entered the space turbulence. The space turbulence was very strong. It was almost the same level as the star field turbulence Knight Sorrow encountered in the Kuan lower world. Those below the Great Emperor Realm would find it hard to survive. Knight Sorrow used the 8-Dragon Cauldron to protect himself and used the virtuous immortal body. Then, he used the space-time will to move closer to the City Lord Manor. He only had 3 days, and 3 days was nothing to high-level cultivators. Therefore, Knight Sorrow had to seize the opportunity. He didn't have time to wait and wait. He had to seize the opportunity to kill in one strike. Traversing through the space turbulence, Knight Sorrow arrived at the City Lord Manor. At this moment, there was a row of people kneeling in the manor. Each of them had a knife on their neck. The Black Iron Mine is in the Shadow Manor's area. It belongs to the Shadow Manor. Luo Fei said with a dark expression. But that's our Iron Sword Sex Mountain. It's been like this for countless years. An elder said. So much nonsense. Do you have the right to talk nonsense? Just one sentence. Move and scram. You can live. Otherwise die. Luo Fei stood up and said. Haha. There's no point in living. But Tai Tang say one sentence. You Luo Fei will definitely be unlucky. An elder who was pressed down said. Could this assassination mission be related to the Iron Sword sect? Knight Sorrow had a guess. However, it had nothing to do with his assassination. Chapter 1541. This wasn't a spar. Knight Sorrow wanted to kill, so he didn't test the waters. At the same time as the Emperor Samsara Slash was executed, Knight Sorrow's spatial split slashed in another direction, preventing the other 2 Heaven Monarchs from coming to help. He then executed the soul-extinguishing slash at Luo Fei. When the spatial zone shook, Luo Fei sensed it. However, when he drew his sword and was about to fight, the halo produced by the Emperor Samsara Slash enveloped him. The crescent blade of the soul-extinguishing slash was also spinning and slashing at his divine sea. Affected by the Emperor Samsara Slash's effect on the soul spirit and spacetime, Luo Fei maintained his sword-drawing posture. However, his divine sea emitted a green light. As the young prefecture lord of the Umbra Prefecture, how could he not have a soul spirit defense treasure? When the crescent blade of the soul-extinguishing slash was spinning, Night Sorrow approached Luo Fei. He brandished the space-splitting spear and executed the Void Extreme Kill. At this moment, the two Heaven Monarchs broke through the seal of Night Sorrow's spatial split and charged at Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow's body shook and executed the afterimage body. A few figures flashed and pounced at the two Heaven Monarchs. The afterimage body didn't have any attacking ability, but the energy it contained was real. Therefore, the two Heaven Monarchs brandished their swords and fought. This was the effect that Night Sorrow wanted. He wanted to seize the opportunity for his clones to continue killing Luo Fei. As the space-splitting spear neared Luo Fei's body, the tip of the spear burst out with an intense purple halo. It directly entered Luo Fei's dantian and exploded, annihilating Luo Fei's dantian region. At this moment, Luo Fei was awake, but it couldn't solve the problem because there was no more energy in his body. Night Sorrow brandished the space-splitting spear again and chopped Luo Fei's head into two halves. He then took the opportunity to collect the green jade ring, the storage ring, and the weapon that fell from Luo Fei's divine sea. He then flew out of the City Lord residence. Everything happened in an instant. It was too fast. Apart from the two Heaven Monarch realm guards in the City Lord residence, the others didn't see what happened. Seeing Luo Fei's broken body fall to the ground, no matter how confused they were, they finally understood what had happened. They then chased after Night Sorrow. None of them looked at the cultivators from Iron Sword Sect. "Who are you?" The Heaven Monarch who was chasing after him shouted. "Shang." Night Sorrow spat out a word. After leaving the City Lord's mansion, Night Sorrow once again stabbed out with his space-splitting spear. It was still the nothingness extreme kill. He pierced through space and entered the 8-dragon cauldron. Then, he disappeared from the sight of his pursuers through the hole. Flying in the spatial turbulence was very stressful. Others could not chase after him because it was very difficult to break through spatial barriers, and it was also very difficult to survive in the spatial turbulence. Safe. After entering the spatial turbulence, Night Sorrow knew that he was safe. After exiting the city through the spatial turbulence, Night Sorrow changed his attire and returned to the chaotic city. He then left through the teleportation array. After returning to the ethereal Imperial City, Night Sorrow went to the God-Fiend Castle. When Night Sorrow arrived, Elder Nalan, who was wearing a mask, brought Night Sorrow, who was also wearing a mask, into the underground castle. "I killed the target's body in Devil Shadow City, but I'm not sure if it's the real body or a clone. I don't know how this mission is calculated," Night Sorrow said after entering Elder Nalan's reception room. "That's the real body. This information is accurate. Even if it's not the real body, it's still a problem with the information. It has nothing to do with your mission," Elder Nalan said. "That's good. The target's head was destroyed by me. The only evidence is his weapon and storage ring," Night Sorrow said. He took out Luo Fei's storage ring and weapon, but he had no intention of handing them over. They were his spoils of war. "The information has been sent back. Your mission is complete. It took you less than half a day to complete this difficult mission. Not bad. This mission is worth 2,000 points. Elder Nalan gave Night Sorrow's identity token and communication crystal token to Night Sorrow. "Good. If there's a suitable mission, please inform me," Night Sorrow said after standing up. "Wait a moment. Your mask isn't made well enough. I'll make it for you. No matter who it is, they won't be able to see your face under the mask," Lang Lai said. "I've already made it. I don't dare to trouble you, Elder," Night Sorrow said. When he decided to use this mask last time, he took some time to make it and engraved an array that could block out detection. It can block monarchs and heavenly monarchs, but can it block emperors? "Give it to me." Lang Lai stretched out his arm to Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow took off his mask and smiled awkwardly. He then gave the mask to Lang Lai. "With the mask, you have a deterrent force. Without the mask, you're still handsome." "Very good," Elder Nalan said with a smile. He was very happy that Night Sorrow completed the mission quickly. This was Night Sorrow's first mission and also a test. Lang Lai took the mask and left. Nalan took off his mask. Under the mask was a thin but dignified face. Night Sorrow took out a tea set and made a pot of heart-cleansing tea. He chatted casually with Elder Nalan. The way of tea can reflect a person's state of mind. Your state of mind is very calm and not impetuous at all. Cultivation is external, Cultivation is internal, Elder Nalan said after taking a sip of tea. Elder, you flatter me, Night Sorrow said. Ha. I've lived for a long time. I've seen all kinds of things in people. If you ask whether the target's moral character is bad, I can understand your persistence. Why is it like this? The world is not the ancient times. Strength is the reason. You should understand this, Elder Nalan said. Night Sorrow hesitated. He didn't know how to express his thoughts. There were some words that he didn't know how to say. If you have any thoughts, just say it. I'm also bound by the oath. I won't divulge the information of the members. In addition, I feel that you should have the right thoughts and the right path to development. Taking the wrong path will only delay you, Elder Nalan said to Night Sorrow. Thank you, Elder. Actually, it's like this. After I started cultivating, I didn't do anything that went against my heart. Following this path, I was lucky enough to obtain a body of merit. Now, I've made some small achievements, said Yishan. Body of merit. Is there a light of merit? Release it for me to see, Elder Nalan said curiously. Night Sorrow stood up and activated the immortal body of merit. He believed in Elder Nalan and the rules of the God-Devil Castle. This is a small achievement? It's the great sage of merit, right? Seeing Night Sorrow's body emitting a strong light of merit, Elder Nalan stood up with a somewhat excited expression. Why most be new/v previous chapter. Yes, I don't dare to hide it from Elder. It's like this. Therefore, I still have some concerns about accepting missions, Night Sorrow said. At this moment, Lang Lai, who was holding Night Sorrow's mask, also appeared in the lounge. At the same time he was stunned. Sit down and talk. Let's sit down and talk. Elder Nalan waved his hand at Night Sorrow. Although I want mission points, I still feel that a man should know what to do and what not to do. Please understand, elders. Night Sorrow cupped his hands at Elder Nalan and Lang Lai. Chapter 1542. That's a good thing. You can tell us about your concerns. Cultivators have to respect the heavenly Tao. We will only support you and not destroy you, Elder Nalan said after looking at Lang Lai for a while. Thank you for your understanding, Elder. I'm not afraid of the mission being difficult as long as it doesn't go against my conscience. Night Sorrow nodded. Don't worry about that. When we choose the mission, we will consider your situation. In fact, all the cultivators in this world have fought their way through the law of the jungle. Who doesn't have their hands stained with blood? If you have to kill someone, just kill them. Besides, no matter who is given the mission, this is karma. Lang Lai handed Night Sorrow's mask to Night Sorrow. Thank you, Elder. I'm also a blacksmith. Elder, you're too fast. Night Sorrow took the mask and said, Don't you know there's a time acceleration treasure? Lang Lai glanced at Night Sorrow. Ah! Night Sorrow didn't know what to say after being rebutted by Lang Lai. Sui Xin, Chapter B, Section V, I, haha, Elder Lang has a temper. Don't mind him. You can go back. We'll inform you if there's a suitable mission. Elder Nalan nodded at Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow stood up and left a bag of tea for the two elders before leaving. After returning to the stall, Night Sorrow greeted Heavenly Lord Lin Mu and smiled at the waiting customer. Then, he continued to refine weapons. No one knew that Night Sorrow had killed the young master of one of the 7 prefectures of the Ethereal Empire in less than half a day. At this moment, Elder Nalan and Lang Lai were drinking tea in the Divine Devil Castle. How do you feel? Elder Nalan asked. He's a treasure, Lang Lai said. It's rare to have a body of merit. It's even more amazing to be able to cultivate to the level of Merit Supreme Saint. This can't be achieved in the celestial realm. He should be from some realm. In his own words, he's a native. But what's wrong with being a native? He doesn't want to join other forces. He doesn't want to submit to others. This is the nobility deep in his soul, Nalan said. He was a little emotional. Report it. The deluxe Merit Grand Sage was indeed impressive, and he had executed his mission perfectly. The young Prefecture Lord of the Dark Shadow Prefecture is a powerful Heaven Monarch and even had a Heaven Monarch bodyguard with him. However, Shang was able to kill him with a single strike and even retreat safely. This is his strength. Lang Yu might not have much to say, but he admired Night Sorrow very much. Within the dark shadow palace of the dark shadow residence, a black-robed man sat in the main seat. His face was gloomy, and beside him stood a pale-faced man. Knight Sorrow recognized this man. It was Luo Fei, who he had killed. At this time, a man was brought into the main hall. Divine, who did this? I will capture him and make him suffer a fate worse than death, the man sitting on the main seat said coldly. After entering the hall, the man took out a futon and sat down. Then, he began divining what had happened since Knight Sorrow's appearance at the City Lord's mansion. Everything about Knight Sorrow's return to Ethereal City was also clear. However, the image began to blur and then collapsed. The man who had done the divination spat out a mouthful of blood. You may leave. The black-robed man sitting on the main seat waved his hand and said, Prefecture Lord, that assassin went to the Divine Devil Castle? The man who had brought the diviner in asked in surprise. That's right. Only the Divine Devil Castle's great array disrupting array can prevent divination and have such power. Stop investigating. Since it's a mission from the Divine Devil Castle, go and investigate the person who did it. The black-robed man stood up and gave the order. He was the Dark Shadow Prefecture Lord, Luo Yuandao. He was a powerful figure in the Ethereal Dynasty, but he did not have the right to provoke the Divine Devil Castle. Some things could not be hidden from others. The young Prefecture Lord of the Dark Shadow Prefecture and 2 Heaven Monarch bodyguards were killed by Shang in the Dark Shadow City, and the news of Shang escaping unscathed spread. Then, there was news that Shang was a member of the Divine Devil Castle, but his identity was unknown. It wasn't a big deal to know that he was a member of the Divine Devil Castle, but no one dared to try to uncover Shang's identity, and there was no way to investigate. No matter who was investigating, even if it was divination, everything was cut off when it came to the Divine Devil Castle. Everyone wanted to know more about Shang because the Divine Devil Castle had a rule. No matter what the mission was, they would never send someone with a high cultivation level to carry out the mission. They would only send someone of the same cultivation level. The Divine Devil Castle did not bother to bully others, and this showed that Shang was very powerful. Knight Sorrow was still doing his alchemy and artifact refining business. Then, he was lucky enough to obtain a spatial artifact refining secret technique. During his rest time, Knight Sorrow refined a spatial artifact that could speed up 10 times, but it also consumed a lot of Knight Sorrow's materials. Yi Shang had not refined it directly, but had modified the 8-dragon cauldron, which was even more difficult. However, if he succeeded, it would be of great help to Yi Shang. He would be able to speed up the refinement process. Jiang Yu still brought a yen to Knight Sorrow's stall every day to drink and watch Knight Sorrow refine pills and weapons. Knight Sorrow's business was very good. In the blink of an eye, half a month had passed. Jiang Yu brought a yen to Knight Sorrow's stall. Our young lady is here. Can't you receive her? Ah Yen looked at Knight Sorrow, who was handing over weapons to customers, and said, Young lady Jiang, next time you come, can you not bring her? Or don't let her talk. My good mood is gone. Knight Sorrow looked at Jiang Yu and said, Knight Sorrow did not hate loyal servants who protected their master, but he hated evil servants who bit people for no reason. Did you hear that? Jiang Yu looked at Ah Yen. She could feel that Knight Sorrow had a very bad impression of Ah Yen, and it affected her as well. Here are 5 portions of Junhua pills for you. Knight Sorrow took out a few bottles of pills and put them on the table in front of him. He had already refined them. Very good. Aren't you going to invite me in for a cup of tea? Jiang Yu asked with a smile. Sure. Knight Sorrow nodded. Go back. Don't come here again. You also need to reflect. Jiang Yu said to Ah Yen. Ah Yen nodded and left. Jiang Yu had already found out that Ah Yen was a fox who relied on the tiger's prestige to intimidate others. She had been tolerating it before. This time, she could no longer ignore it. The servant's behavior was also the master's face. Jiang Yu even felt that Ah Yen was not as good as Knight Sorrow's servant. Your business is doing well. The main thing is that you have a good reputation. Treasure-seeking street is also popular. Jiang Yu sat down and said, It's just that it's not easy to make a living. Knight Sorrow said, You're making a living? You're eating and drinking well. You're robbing, and you're robbing in a righteous way. Jiang Yu took a sip of tea and said, Haha, young lady Jiang, you're exaggerating. Knight Sorrow said with a smile. This time, I want to ask for a spirit replenishing pill. Jiang Yu said. Materials. Do you have the materials? Night Sorrow poured another cup of tea for Jiang Yu. I don't have the materials. I'm just asking for a pill. Jiang Yu looked at Night Sorrow. Chapter 1543. Miss Jiang, do you know what the spirit replenishing pill means? Night Sorrow asked. Of course I do. I once lost a battle avatar and my soul is damaged. Although the spirit replenishing pill may not be able to make up for it perfectly, it should still have some effect, Jiang Yu said. What do you say, Miss Jiang? Night Sorrow asked. We'll call it even for the remaining 40 pills, Jiang Yu said. It's not difficult for me to refine 40 pills. If I want to, I can finish it quickly. Night Sorrow shook his head. The last time he took out the spirit replenishing pill, it was to tell Jiang Yu and the others that he was confident in alchemy. It was not because the spirit replenishing pill was cheap. Then tell me, Jiang Yu said. I won't take advantage of you. 2 spirit replenishing pills and 40 pills. We'll call it even. I need something of the 9th rank, such as a cultivation technique inheritance, a refining inheritance, or an array diagram. But I hope you won't fool me with trash, Night Sorrow said. Deal. I'll come to you later. Jiang Yu nodded. This was the difference in background. Night Sorrow's background was incomparable to Jiang Yu's, resulting in cultivation techniques, refining artifacts, and alchemy inheritances being things that he could not obtain. However, it was not difficult for Jiang Yu. As the little princess of Kanglin Manor, one of the 7 manors of Ethereal Imperial City, she could still get these things if she wanted to. Of course, it was also difficult. After Jiang Yu left, Night Sorrow went to the front desk and took an order according to the number plate. However, another guest came at this time, Gong Xianyu and Ghost Monkey. Night Sorrow ignored them and just waved his arm for Lu Yun to receive them. The last time Ghost Monkey followed him, Night Sorrow already knew that Gong Xianyu was a scheming person. Master Knight, you're a giant, Gong Xianyu said. Why would I keep people 1,000 miles away? Night Sorrow turned his head to look at Gong Xianyu. He knew in his heart, but he did not have to say it out loud. I think there might be a misunderstanding between us. Last time, you left in a hurry. I was worried that something might have happened to you, so I let Ghost Monkey follow you, Gong Xianyu said. So that's how it is. Then I have to thank Miss Gong for her concern. Night Sorrow said with a smile, but he did not make it clear. They were all smart people, and Gong Xian naturally understood that Night Sorrow had already seen through Ghost Monkey's stalking. Now, he was saying this to resolve the awkwardness. There's no need to be so polite. If Celestial Master Yi needs anything, you can ask at any time, said Gong Xianmoon. This servant is of little importance and does not dare to trouble Miss Gong. Night Sorrow cupped his hands and refused. If possible, Night Sorrow didn't want to have any entanglements with Gong Xian or Guanyue Mansion. From Gong Xian's behavior, he could see Guanyue Mansion's style of doing things. You're too polite. When you're done, I'll treat you to a drink when you have time. Gong Xianyu smiled. She knew that she couldn't rush to resolve this misunderstanding. In addition, she felt that Night Sorrow was someone without a foundation and would be easy to win over. Gong Xianyu and Ghost Monkey left Treasure-Seeking Street. ZX Forever Y Forever V read #novel. Miss, there's no need to be too polite with him. If you want to suppress and win him over, he won't be able to resist, said Ghost Monkey. This guy isn't that simple. You followed him in the direction of the Imperial Palace, which is also the direction of the God Fiend Castle. The time of Luo Fei's death also matches up, so it's possible that. Gong Xianyu glanced at Ghost Monkey, but didn't finish her sentence. Ghost Monkey was stunned and didn't say anything. Everyone saw his alchemy and refining standards, but what about his combat strength? Without some ability, how could he have discovered that you were following him? Let's not talk about this. Gong Xianyu didn't want to touch the taboo of the God Fiend Castle. Gong Xianyu didn't dare to touch it. She could guess, but she couldn't make it public. Ghost Monkey thought for a moment and didn't say anything. Some things weren't easy to say. Night Sorrow was still the same. When night fell, he would bring Lu Yun back to the courtyard. Sometimes, he would buy some wine and food on the way. When eating and drinking, Night Sorrow would also call for Lu Yun. Although Lu Yun was a slave, Night Sorrow felt that fate was unfair. Since they were living under the same roof, he had to respect him. Lu Yun didn't change his attitude just because Knight Sorrow's attitude was good. He did what he needed to do and took care of the courtyard in an orderly manner. After drinking tea together again, Knight Sorrow looked at Lu Yun. I have something to say. In fact, the thing that people can't lose the most is hope. When I'm done with my work, I'll give you freedom. You can live however you want. Young master, are you serious? Lu Yun asked in astonishment. Knight Sorrow had mentioned it once before, but Lu Yun thought that he was just trying to win her over, so she didn't take it to heart. After spending some time with Knight Sorrow, she understood that Knight Sorrow wasn't that kind of person. Yes. Actually, this is my second time buying servants at the market. The last time was Fate. Now, their family is living very well. Their son is my disciple, and so is their daughter-in-law. Knight Sorrow smiled. He liked the Ning family very much, so he had taken Ning Yun as his disciple. You took in a slave's child as your disciple? Lu Yun was astonished. There's no difference between nobility and lowliness. Perhaps they didn't come from a good background or have experienced some setbacks, but that won't affect their future achievements and status. Don't feel inferior. As long as you're alive and positive, everything can change. Knight Sorrow stood up. He felt that Lu Yun should understand his words. After Knight Sorrow left, Lu Yun fell into deep thought. Knight Sorrow's words had touched her. As long as she was alive, she couldn't lose hope. This was what she had to do. Lu Yun took a deep breath and cleaned the tea table. The days were the same as before. After handing in another business, Jiang Yu came. This time it was him. Aren't you going out with any guards? Knight Sorrow asked with a smile. No. This is my family's territory. No one is blind enough to provoke me. Jiang Yu didn't stand on ceremony as he directly entered the back hall of the stall. Knight Sorrow followed him in. She knew that Jiang Yu was here to make a deal. Last time, I gave you a Tier 9 refining technique. This time, I'm giving you a personal letter from an Imperial Lord-level alchemist. I'm sorry about the cultivation technique. The low-level one is useless to you. I can't give you a high-level one. Jiang Yu didn't take out a jade slip, but a very simple beast hide book. Knight Sorrow put away the letter and gave 2 spirit replenishing pills to Jiang Yu. You're going to make a deal without reading the letter? Jiang Yu said in surprise. I trust you, said Yishang. Trust me. If you want to cultivate a cultivation technique, you need an opportunity. The Tier 9 cultivation technique that our House of Azure Water has is in my father's hands. It was given to him by the War Emperor, so you know, Jiang Yu said. It couldn't be spread. Knight Sorrow understood what Jiang Yu meant. The House of Azure Water's cultivation technique was given to him by the Ethereal War Emperor. He only had the right to cultivate it. He didn't dare to trade it. It would be blasphemous to the Ethereal War Emperor and the consequences would be severe. I'll try my best to think of a way, Knight Sorrow said. Chapter 1544. I don't quite understand, said Knight Sorrow. What is a Stage 9 Imperial Realm? That's the king of cultivators, revered by everyone. Some cultivators have good stuff but don't give it to others? Some big factions don't try to rope them in? Do they have to worry about cultivation techniques? I heard from my father that Stage 9 cultivation techniques are actually combat techniques. It has little to do with cultivation. I'm not sure about the specifics, said Jiang Yu. All right, I understand. Knight Sorrow nodded. What the heavenly monarchs worry about is the improvement of their realm. This step is too difficult. Some old heavenly monarchs have lived for hundreds of millions of years and are tired of living. In the end, their nascent soul collapses and perishes. Jiang Yu sighed. This was the sorrow of cultivators and experts. Nascent soul collapses? Knight Sorrow looked at Jiang Yu in surprise. Yes. After living for countless years and not being able to make a sudden breakthrough, they don't even believe in themselves. Every day, they are muddle-headed and have no direction. After a long time, their mental state will naturally be covered in dust and perish. Such things happen from time to time. In the celestial realm, there are many such heavenly monarchs, said Jiang Yu. This is also very sad. Knight Sorrow nodded. Such people are also the scariest. They are stuck at a bottleneck for countless years. Although they can't break through, They can comprehend other things by analogy and have many absolute arts. They can even fight against early thearchs. When their Tao heart is unstable, they will go crazy and act without thinking of the consequences. No one is willing to provoke such a lunatic, even if they are Emperor Realm cultivators. Zhang Yu explained to Night Sorrow once again. I understand now. If there is anything you need to refine, come and find me. I will not refuse if I can do it. Night Sorrow nodded at Zhang Yu. He knew very well that Zhang Yu and Gong Xian were not the same kind of people. At the very least, Zhang Yu knew how to treat others with sincerity. All right. Work hard to accumulate wealth and then set up a shop. Only then will you have a foothold in the ethereal imperial city. Zhang Yu stood up and reminded Night Sorrow. After sending Zhang Yu off, another guest came. However, Night Sorrow couldn't see through this guest's aura. An Imperial Realm cultivator. Night Sorrow knew that this person was an Imperial Realm giant. His face was very young and looked to be around 27 or 28 years old. Lu Yun, receive the others first. Sir, please take a seat, Night Sorrow said. You must be Celestial Master Yi. It's like this. I have an armor that was damaged in a battle. I've looked for many people, including even Imperial Masters, but they couldn't repair it. The main reason is that this armor isn't mainstream. It's a strange type of armor. A few days ago, I saw one of your works and felt that your technique and way of thinking were a little different, so I came to try my luck, the man said after sitting down. Sir, you think too highly of me. If even the Imperial Preceptor can't fix it, I, a heavenly adept artificer, naturally can't fix it either, Night Sorrow said. Don't worry, I'm just here to try my luck. Actually, this armor isn't very useful to me now, but it's been with me since I was weak, so I'm a little reluctant to part with it. Take it and have a look. It's best if it works, but it's fine if it doesn't. After saying that, the man took out a silver armor and reached out to touch it with regret in his eyes. Then, the man handed the armor to Night Sorrow. Holding the armor, Night Sorrow began to inspect it with his soul power. After inspecting it for a while, Night Sorrow found that this was a very special armor. It was covered with spirit-dispersing arrays, which meant that a large part of the energy attack would dissipate when it hit the armor. In addition, there were also some very special arrays that could gather energy. The gathered energy was the same as Night Sorrow's true chi energy, which was void energy. There was a hole in the chest of the armor that broke the array. If he wanted to repair it, he would have to repair it and then reconnect the array. To do this, he would need to deduce an energy inspection to restore the array's circuit to its original state. In addition, Night Sorrow also found an artifact spirit. However, because it was severely injured, the artifact spirit had turned into a ball of energy and should be in a dormant state. This armor is very special. It has a very strong energy defense, but its weak point is material defense. The spirit dispersing array is a special feature. Its strongest point should be that the array inside it can produce void energy, which can annihilate some of the energy that attacks the body. However, now that it has been damaged, most of the arrays have stopped operating, and the artifact spirit has also fallen into a dormant state. Night Sorrow said his conclusion. It seems that your reputation is not just for show. If you want to repair it, you will need to deduce and use your soul power to inspect it. However, if the energy you pour in is weak, it will be annihilated by the spirit dispersing array and the array inside the armor. If the energy you pour in is too strong, it will be beyond what the armor can withstand. Then, the armor will be damaged even more. Do you have a way to repair it? The man looked at Night Sorrow and asked. Materials. Materials? I'm inexperienced, so I don't know what materials were used to make this armor, but I'm sure it's a treasure that contains void energy. Special materials and a powerful spirit dispersing formation have formed an extremely strong energy defense. If you want to repair it, you'll need materials like this. I don't even know the materials, so I can't do anything. I'm very sorry. Night Sorrow pushed the armor back to the man. Your analysis is very accurate. The material used to make this armor is Void Star Core Iron. It is a product of the space world's core. It can only be obtained during the Great Destruction of Space. Back then, my father paid a huge price to refine this armor. Originally, it could have been directly refined into an Emperor tier armor, but at that time, my cultivation level was low, so I refined a defensive armor that could grow. I still have some Nihility Star Core Iron left. If I give you some Nihility Star Core Iron, can you repair it? The man looked at Night Sorrow with eyes full of hope and desire. I can try. I can guarantee that the armor won't be damaged, but the results are hard to say. If there is a problem, please don't blame me, sir, Night Sorrow said. X Yong dollar long? Hashtag free 3. Fee QCO% little. Say unspecified currency 7. It's good that there is hope. Tell me, what do you want in return? The man stood up. His eyes didn't leave Night Sorrow. I am a heavenly monarch. What I want is an emperor-grade cultivation technique. I wonder if sir can help me? Night Sorrow looked at the man in front of him and asked. The man turned his head and looked to the other side. After thinking for a while, he looked at Night Sorrow again. I can't give you the cultivation technique that I am cultivating because it is passed down in my family. However, I have obtained a cultivation technique when I was training in the past. Although the level is a little low and can only increase one's cultivation, it can be used as a reference. Since you can enter the Emperor grade, it can help you cultivate. With this foundation you can go and look for a better cultivation technique. All right. Then it's settled. Leave the armor here. We will know the result in a month's time. Whether it works or not, we will know, Night Sorrow said. Then it's settled. You don't have to call me sir. My name is Wufeng. You can just call me Brother Wufeng, Qin Wufeng said. Chapter 1545. Wufeng turned his head and looked at Heaven Lord Lin Mu. His eyes shot out a strong light, making Heaven Lord Lin Mu, who was already unsteady, take a few steps back. Withdrawing his gaze, Edgeless nodded at Yishong and took out 2 pieces of silver-purple ore. There are only 2 pieces left. Take them and study them. Then, Wufeng turned and left treasure-seeking street. He's an Emperor Realm cultivator, but it's rare for him to care so much about the armor. Night Sorrow said. That's Emperor Wufeng. He's famous. Heaven Lord Lin Mu came to Night Sorrow's side. His face was full of shock. He still hadn't recovered from the shock. Emperor Realm? Night Sorrow looked at Lin Mu. He felt that Lin Mu should know more about Emperor Wufeng. Yes, he's an Emperor Realm cultivator. There's an Emperor Wufeng mansion in our ethereal imperial city. It has nothing to do with the 7 mansions. No one from the 7 mansions dared to provoke him. I don't know much about him, but when he was in the Emperor Realm, he had the strength to fight against an Emperor Realm cultivator. His name is his title. He has an edgeless sword that no one in the same realm could touch. Looks like he's very strong. But that's not important. Let's see if we can refine it well. Night Sorrow smiled. He had a good impression of Wufeng. Night Sorrow was very easygoing. From his attitude toward the armor, it could be seen that Wufeng was a very affectionate person. Heaven Master Night Sorrow, please don't destroy his armor. Repair it conservatively. Heaven Lord Lin Mu reminded Night Sorrow. He was afraid that Night Sorrow would destroy the armor and Wufeng would be angry. After returning to his residence, Night Sorrow entered the Dragon Cauldron to study Wufeng's armor. He had to understand it before he could repair it. Because they were of the same origin, Night Sorrow's soul power was of the void attribute. It was the purest. Therefore, the energy from the void star core iron couldn't harm Night Sorrow's soul power. Instead, it was suppressed by Night Sorrow's soul power. Yishong's soul power wandered within the armor, analyzing the structure of the array formation. As long as he could understand it, he would be able to repair the array formation within the armor. As he probed and studied, the circuits of the formation inside the armor appeared in Yishong's mind like a dense spiderweb. Time passed, and Night Sorrow studied it for 5 days. Night Sorrow had only understood a part of the array. After coming out of the Dragon Cauldron, Night Sorrow, Lu Yun, and Lu Yun continued to set. Seeing Yishong's arrival, many stall owners nodded in greeting. Night Sorrow's appearance spurred the pill business in treasure-seeking street. Everyone lowered the cost of refining pills and the price of pills. However, with more customers, the income wasn't bad. Ordinary pills couldn't be refined by Night Sorrow. There was no queue. Every stall owner had their own business. These stall owners were very envious of Night Sorrow. He lived a carefree life. When it was dark, he would pack up and leave. He wouldn't take any customers. After Night Sorrow received an order, He began refining in the back hall. Jiang Yu came over to take a look when he had nothing to do. Night Sorrow had Lu Yun receive him. Fortunately, Jiang Yu wasn't too arrogant. He drank some tea and left after a while. The days passed peacefully. However, Night Sorrow discovered some problems. People were watching him. They didn't refine pills or tools. They just wandered around his shop. Half a month passed. Night Sorrow studied Wu Feng's armor in the Dragon Cauldron for more than 2 months. Night Sorrow told Lu Yun that he was busy for a few days. If he didn't show up, he wouldn't take any orders. Night Sorrow wanted to officially repair Wu Feng's armor. If he couldn't stop halfway, he wouldn't take any orders. Yi Shang already had a thorough understanding of the formation of the armor. During this period of time, his cultivation in formations had increased by a lot as he studied the armor. He had also finished outlining the part of the formation that needed to be repaired in his mind. He melted the Void Star Core iron, condensed it, and then repaired it. Before the material cooled down, he repaired the missing parts of the armor. Then, he started to outline the array formation diagram. Night Sorrow already had an idea of the array formation diagram. However, it was very complicated. That small area had to accommodate hundreds of array formations. It also had to be perfectly connected to the other areas of the armor. It was extremely difficult. Night Sorrow kept the repair part of the armor from cooling down. Then, he continued to draw the array formation diagram and the array formation diagram. This wasn't a small project. If Night Sorrow had refined a monarch weapon himself, it wouldn't have been so troublesome. The way he drew the array formation diagram was as smooth as flowing water. Right now, he was repairing and connecting the array formation. Night Sorrow didn't even know how many lines he needed to connect. Every time he finished drawing the array formation diagram and connecting the array formation diagram, Night Sorrow would complete it and make sure the array formation was smooth. Time slowly slipped away. The array formation in the empty areas of the armor became more and more complete. However, Night Sorrow purposely controlled the critical lines to not connect because once the array was activated, it would be very difficult to repair. 5 days later, Night Sorrow finished repairing the damaged areas of the armor. Then, he connected the critical areas of each array formation and activated it. As all the arrays were connected and activated, the armor glowed with light. It was obvious that it was no ordinary item. In truth, Night Sorrow knew that this armor was no longer an armor of the same tier. He didn't know what tier it had been in the past, but it had already crossed the threshold and was now an Emperor armament. However, Night Sorrow knew that while he was repairing an Emperor armament, he couldn't refine it. If he had to refine the array formation from start to finish, his spiritual energy and pill flame wouldn't be able to handle it. Holding the glowing armor, Night Sorrow returned to the real world. He took a bath and rushed to the stall. Lu Yun wasn't in the courtyard. When he arrived at the stall, Night Sorrow saw many people waiting. They all wanted to ask Night Sorrow to refine pills, weapons, and armor. Night Sorrow saw 2 familiar faces in the line. They were the people who had once watched him. One of them was at the front of the line and wanted to refine a saber. After thinking for a moment, Night Sorrow decided to accept because the person had a number plate and was at the front of the line. After collecting the fee and receiving the request, Night Sorrow began to refine. A saber was nothing to him. The days went by smoothly, and Night Sorrow accepted 2 orders. If it was a complicated one, he would take one. The 1-month deadline with Wu Feng drew closer and closer. However, Night Sorrow also ran into trouble. 2 customers who had refined Night Sorrow's saber came looking for him, saying that Night Sorrow's saber was trash and that it was a lie. Night Sorrow lowered his head and pondered. These 2 were the people who had been watching him for the past few days. While Night Sorrow was pondering how to deal with this problem, Jiang Yu and Gong Xian arrived. Gong Xian was accompanied by Ghost Monkey. You said that your saber is of high quality, but it's just for show. An old man in luxurious clothes held a saber as he spoke. He was the first person to refine a saber after Night Sorrow had finished repairing Wu Feng's armor. Go! I don't know. How did I offend the 2 of you? You were watching me first, but now you've come looking for trouble. If you have something to say, just say it. Night Sorrow raised his head and looked across the street at the azure-robed Wu Feng. Speak. First update. Chapter 1546. Wu Feng nodded at Night Sorrow. As Night Sorrow turned his head to look at the old man in luxurious clothes, he knew that there were some things that had to be resolved today. The item you refined isn't good enough, so you have to compensate me. Otherwise, don't blame me for ruining your reputation, said the old man in luxurious clothes. Fellow Taoist, why are you so aggressive? Isn't there another way to resolve this matter? Gong Xianyu stepped forward and said, So it's Miss Gong. I will definitely give face to Miss Gong, but he has to give an explanation, said the old man in luxurious clothes after glancing at Night Sorrow. That's right. We can give face to Miss Gong, but you have to give us an explanation, said another middle-aged man. Haha. There's no need for that. You don't have to give face to anyone. If you say that my item isn't good, then let the facts speak for themselves. However, I have to make it clear in advance. If the facts prove that you're looking for trouble, then I won't let it go. Yi Shang took a deep breath and shook his head helplessly. He had a pretty good idea of what had happened. If you're looking for trouble, then I'll deal with it, said Jiang Yu. There's no need for Miss Jiang to step in. This is the territory of Zhonglan Manor. If there's no problem with my item and someone is looking for trouble, then I'll fight back. It's not considered causing trouble in the city, right? Night Sorrow looked at Jiang Yu. Of course not. Jiang Yu nodded. All right. Thank you, Miss Jiang. Since the two of you said that my item is trash, why don't you prove it? Night Sorrow looked at the two men who were looking for trouble. We're giving you a way out. Since you're so shameless, don't blame us for being rude. This is the saber you refined. The man raised his hand and slapped the saber in half. Haha. I'm shameless? Now you don't have any face even if you want to. Fellow Taoist, and that. I remember that the weapons in your hands were refined by me, right? Night Sorrow looked at the onlookers and said, My weapon was refined by Celestial Master Yi, but I didn't find any problems with it. A middle-aged woman stepped forward. Lend me your weapon. Night Sorrow nodded at the middle-aged woman. The middle-aged woman took out the sword and handed it to Night Sorrow. The weapons I forge have markings on them. Of course, those who aren't observant won't be able to discover them. I've thought about it before. Night Sorrow flicked the hilt of the sword with his finger, and the hilt of the sword glowed with light. The light rays arranged themselves in an orderly manner, forming the character Night. At this moment, everyone looked at the two men who were looking for trouble. The two men were also stunned. They didn't expect Night Sorrow to have such a trump card. There's no array on the handles of your weapons. You want to cause trouble, but you don't have a brain. What kind of trick does your master want to play with me? He's in the wrong place. Night Sorrow reached out and pulled out Splitter from his back. Then, he used Space Revolving Dragon Kill. Before the old man could react, Splitter pierced through his dantian and abdomen. Then, with a flick and a stab, the old man's head was cut open. It was fine if he didn't move, but when he did, he was like a thunderbolt. Once he attacked, he would kill. The other man ran away in a flash. He naturally understood that today's matter could not be resolved peacefully. Escaping was the way to go. Night Sorrow got up and chased after him. However, he stopped after a few steps because there was already an outcome. Watch it for free for a long time. Wu Feng, who was standing on the opposite side of the street, drew a circle with his right hand and trapped the escaping man. Then, he casually punched with his right hand, and the imprisoned man immediately exploded. With a casual move, this heaven monarch was killed. Wu Feng raised his left hand and coughed. If you don't want to live, then die. Seeing Wu Feng walk over, Jiang Yu and Gong Xianyu bowed. You're here. Night Sorrow nodded at Wu Feng. Yes, that move was beautiful. Wu Feng finished speaking and walked to the back of the stall. Sorry for the lack of hospitality. Also, don't worry, everyone. The things I forge are worthy of my conscience. Elixirs are for eating, not playing with. Weapons and armor are closely related to a cultivator's life. I won't joke about it. Night Sorrow cupped his hands at the group of people, and then instructed Lu Yun to take orders according to the order. After making the arrangements, Night Sorrow nodded at Jiang Yu and glanced at Gong Xianyu before entering the back of the stall. I'm just here for a walk today. Don't feel pressured, and don't think about a month, Wu Feng said to Night Sorrow. My lord values that armor very much. I understand that very well. Naturally, I can't ignore it. Night Sorrow took the tea set and poured a pot of tea. Then, he took out the armor and placed it on the table in front of Wufeng. Seeing the shining armor, Wufeng stood up and reached out to touch it. His eyes were filled with shock. The old celestial master who forged this armor was in bad condition back then, so I didn't want to trouble him to repair it. When his nascent soul collapsed and he died, I thought there was no hope. I didn't expect you to be able to restore it to its original state. Looking at the energy, it seems there's still room for improvement, Wufeng said. He was clearly surprised by this result. My lord, it's good that you're satisfied. There's still some Nihility Star Core Iron left. Night Sorrow took out the remaining Nihility Star Core Iron and placed it in front of Wufeng. Wufeng didn't take back the materials. Instead, he focused all his attention on the armor. The artifact spirit was injured back then and fell into hibernation. Now that the formation has been repaired and is operating again, it can naturally absorb energy to recover. It's just a matter of time, Night Sorrow said. Very good. I can feel it. Beautiful, beautifully restored. Edgeless raised his head and looked at Night Sorrow. My lord, it's good that you're satisfied, Night Sorrow said with a smile. I told you last time that you could just call me Brother Wufeng. Although I'm only here to take a look, I've already prepared your reward. Wufeng took out a jade slip and handed it to Yi Shang. His way of addressing himself had also changed a little. Thank you for your help, Brother Wufeng. Night Sorrow stood up and received the jade slip with both hands. This is the primordial chaos art. Its main purpose is to assist in cultivation. With detailed guidance, it's very good for your foundation. It's most suitable for you to use the primordial chaos art to build your foundation after entering the 9th rank. With a good foundation, you won't have to worry about not having a suitable cultivation art, Wufeng said to Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow understands. Night Sorrow cupped his hands at Wufeng. Night Sorrow, a good name. You don't have to take any orders today. Let's go to a restaurant and have a drink. Wufeng was in a good mood. All right. Then I won't work today. I'll accompany Brother Wufeng for a drink. Night Sorrow was also very happy that Wufeng was satisfied with the repaired armor. Night Sorrow asked Wufeng to put away the Void Star Core Iron. Wufeng only smiled and said that he would send Night Sorrow off. All of this happened in a moment. Night Sorrow and Wufeng came out. The onlookers had yet to disperse. Jiang Yu and Gong Xianyu were still there. I'm very sorry for today's incident, but thank you for your trust. Lu Yun took 2 orders today. I'll go out for a drink and come back to refine. Miss Jiang, I won't be receiving you today. Night Sorrow cupped his hands at the onlookers. After giving some instructions to Lu Yun, he greeted Jiang Yu and ignored Gong Xianyu. At this time, Gong Xianyu's expression was very ugly. She naturally knew what was going on. Speak. The second update has arrived. Last night, both of my computer's hard drives crashed. Now I'm typing on my laptop, so it's slower. I still have to repair my computer. The afternoon update is set for 1 o'clock. Chapter 1547. Night Sorrow's words made it clear that he knew someone was behind this. Night Sorrow's attitude also made it clear. Gong Xian was very clear about this. He just didn't expose the matter. Night Sorrow and Wufeng left Treasure-Seeking Street and arrived at a restaurant. This restaurant looks good. Let's go here, Wufeng muttered and led Night Sorrow into the restaurant. After calling the waiter and ordering a table of dishes, Wufeng led Night Sorrow into a private room. Night Sorrow, thank you very much for the armor. Let's not talk too much. Drink more later. Wufeng put his left hand in front of his mouth and coughed. Brother Wufeng, you're too polite. You paid for it too. Night Sorrow said. However, he found it strange. A normal Emperor Realm cultivator would not cough. It's not the same. You don't know what this armor means to me. Let me tell you. I come from a big family, but I fell out with my family. This armor is a gift from my father, and it's also the only gift he has. With this armor, it's as if I can see my father's majestic back, supporting me to face all difficulties and opponents, Wufeng said in a low voice. I see. Brother Wufeng, you seem to have an old illness, Night Sorrow said. Yes, it happened a long time ago. I'm not afraid that you'll laugh at me. It's the result of a palm strike from my mother. Wu Feng laughed. It was a self-deprecating laugh. Knight Sorrow did not know what to say because this might be a tragedy. Then, Wu Feng seemed to be muttering to himself. He told Knight Sorrow some things. Perhaps the armor's repair had touched his heart. Wu Feng's mother was a member of a big family. His father was a lone cultivator, but his strength was shocking. When he first appeared, he was in the area of Wu Feng's mother's family. At that time, he was injured and had lost his memory. Later on, he married Wu Feng's mother. Wu Feng had been outstanding since he was young. However, he made a mistake. During a spar, he accidentally injured his uncle's son. As a result, his mother gave him a palm strike on the spot. Wu Feng's uncle was the heir of the family and held a high position in the family. This situation led to the family wanting to execute Wu Feng. My father, the man they called the Mad Devil, brought me out. It was a bitter battle. I survived, but my father was gone. He was drowned by them. Edgeless let out a sigh. I'm sorry for bringing up Brother Wu Feng's past. Knight Sorrow poured a glass of wine for Wu Feng. This armor was made from materials that my father collected before he lost his memories. He also paid a huge price to get someone to make it for him. He understood the family situation and didn't want me to stand out too much, so he only made armor that could protect me. He also gave me the name Wu Feng. Father didn't want me to stand out too much, Wu Feng said. Can I examine Brother Wu Feng? Knight Sorrow asked. It's useless. My mother, who wanted to kill me, cultivated an extreme Yin technique. Although my father blocked that palm strike, it still damaged my life essence. Wu Feng shook his head. Nothing is absolute. If you don't mind, I can help you take a look. Knight Sorrow was somewhat insistent. Wu Feng's words had resonated with him. Haha. Then I can't refuse your good intentions. Come. Wu Feng stretched out his arm. Knight Sorrow placed 2 fingers on Wu Feng's wrist and began to examine him. Fierce and tyrannical, Wu Feng's true energy surged like a tidal wave. However, it didn't affect Knight Sorrow's probing power. The tyrannical energy didn't harm Knight Sorrow, but there was an extremely cold Yin energy within it that attacked Knight Sorrow. Knight Sorrow's probing power was instantly destroyed, but the cold Yin energy didn't stop there. It flowed through Knight Sorrow's fingers and entered his body. Knight Sorrow's body surged with energy, resisting the invasion of the energy. Defeat. The power of desolates in Yi Shang's body was defeated. Suppress. At the critical moment, Knight Sorrow used his virtuous invincible golden body. Following the appearance of a fierce and righteous golden light, the cold Yin energy was forced out of Knight Sorrow's body and dispersed. At this moment, Wu Feng stood up and looked at Knight Sorrow in astonishment. Moments later, Wu Feng laughed. Haha. I almost tricked you. I forgot that you aren't in the Arch realm. The 2 alchemists who examined my body in the past were Thearka's tutors. Therefore, they could resist this energy, but a heavenly monarch couldn't. Fortunately, you were able to resist it. Otherwise, I would have made a grave mistake. What is it? Why is it so cold and sinister? Knight Sorrow was also very shocked. It's my mother's family's absolute art. What was that just now? Virtuous light? Wu Feng looked at Knight Sorrow, who had withdrawn his aura, and asked. I won't hide it from Brother Wu Feng. Yes, I have virtuous light. I also integrated it into my body tempering cultivation technique. Knight Sorrow said with a smile. Haha. Brother, you are so domineering. You killed that troublemaker with 1 shot today. That is also proof of your strength. Wu Feng laughed. Brother Wu Feng, the problem in your body is very serious. I can't solve it now. Knight Sorrow shook his head. It's fine. You might be able to in the future because you can resist this cold Yin energy. Don't mind my straightforwardness. Your cultivation is too low now. Wu Feng was in high spirits. What's wrong with that? If I can't, then I can't. Knight Sorrow said. After drinking, Knight Sorrow and Wu Feng separated. Knight Sorrow returned to Treasure Seeking Street to continue accepting refining missions. Gong Xian Moon was gone, but Zhang Yu was still there. Heavenly Master Knight. You are good. You actually managed to repair Monarch Wu Feng's armor. It seems you have hidden your refining skills well. Zhang Yu looked at Knight Sorrow and said, I was just lucky and happened to repair it, Night Sorrow said. Monarch Wufeng's appearance today caused those troublemakers to have no end. I wonder if that idiot will continue to do something, Zhang said. It seems you know what to do. Night Sorrow poured Zhang a cup of wine. Yes, she is AB*TCH. There is nothing she won't do. She has embarrassed the 7 prefectures. Zhang Yu's eyes were full of disdain. It seems her character is bad. Night Sorrow nodded. Not only is her character bad, but she is also promiscuous. Zhang Yu spat out a few more words. Night Sorrow turned to look at Zhang Yu. She didn't expect Zhang Yu to have such an evaluation of Gongxian Moon. Translator, Endless Fantasy Translation Editor. Endless Fantasy Translation. Do you think I'm slandering her? You can hook your finger and she might be waiting for you on your bed. You can do whatever you want. One of my guards was seduced by her just like that. However, I don't rely on bullying. You know what I mean. Zhang Yu made a gesture. You guys are born into a good family. You can play whatever you want. I just want to live a quiet life. Night Sorrow said helplessly. Chapter 1548. That's not appropriate. Not only will I embarrass myself, but your reputation will also be damaged, Night Sorrow said with a smile. Haha. You're right, but don't worry. If you don't submit, she can't do anything to you, Zhang Yu said with a smile. Ethereal Imperial City still had its rules. Not everyone could do whatever they wanted. Zhang Yu didn't ask about the matter between Night Sorrow and Wufeng because it was a private matter. It wasn't appropriate for her to ask about Wufeng's matters. Night Sorrow packed up his stall while Zhang Yu watched from the side. Miss Zhang, let's have tea together when you have time, Night Sorrow said to Zhang Yu after he finished packing up. Okay, I'll come over tomorrow. Also, I have to remind you again that there are many women in the world. Don't let a moment of pleasure cause you to be doomed eternally. Zhang Yu glanced at Night Sorrow before leaving the stall. Night Sorrow smiled helplessly. Zhang Yu was a straightforward person. She said whatever came to her mind. Her personality was very similar to Yang Lei's. She wasn't shy at all. Night Sorrow walked in front while Lu Yun followed behind. The two bought some food and wine before returning to the side courtyard. At this moment, in a mansion near Guanyue Prefecture, Gong Xianyu's face was gloomy. This guy is so daring. He guessed that he was one of us and still tried to kill him. Gong Xianyu's face was full of frost. I'll find an opportunity to kill him, Ghost Monkey said. Don't rush. Let's observe the situation first. In short, we can't let that little bitch Zhang Yu recruit him, Gong Xianyu said. He went drinking with Monarch Wufeng today. Will there be any changes? Ghost Monkey asked worriedly. You're overthinking it. Monarch Wufeng is a person who can't do anything, let alone a heavenly monarch. It's impossible for them to have any entanglements with each other. It won't affect anything. I must teach this guy a lesson. It's mainly because that bitch Zhang Yu is in the way. She's never seen a man before and keeps making waves. Gong Xian cursed. After that, Gong Xian decided to visit Night Sorrow's courtyard. She didn't believe that a native without any foundation like Night Sorrow could withstand her pressure. Emperor Wufeng had appeared during the day, so she couldn't force her way in. While Night Sorrow and Lu Yun were drinking and chatting, the month of Gong Xian arrived. She entered Night Sorrow's courtyard by herself. As for the Ghost Monkey, he was waiting in the shadows. Lu Yun, go out and buy some good wine. Night Sorrow nodded to Lu Yun and sent him away. I'm here. Don't you welcome me? Luo Xiu waved her hand and swept the chair. Gong Xian Moon sat across from Night Sorrow. J, do you think I welcome you or not? Night Sorrow poured himself a glass of wine. Haha. It seems like you have a deep opinion of me. I admit that I was the one who sent the Ghost Monkey that day. The two people who died today were also my subordinates. It's actually nothing. I just want you to join my moon-gazing manor and work for my Gong family. I won't treat you badly either. You can have whatever you want. As long as you want it, I'll find a way to solve it. Gong Xian Moon said. Haha. I'm sorry, but that's not what I want. Please don't force me. Night Sorrow said. He was surprised that Gong Xian Moon would be so direct. You can have whatever you want. Can't I? Gong Xianmoon stood up and pressed her hands on the table. She leaned forward and looked at Night Sorrow, her chest surging intensely. Please have some self-respect. Go back. I'll pretend you weren't here. Night Sorrow stood up. He didn't like being looked down upon. You really don't understand things. Since you want to make trouble, I'll accompany you. Emperor Wufeng will protect you? You're thinking too much. Gong Xianmoon stood up straight and snorted coldly. I've never wanted anyone to protect me, and I don't need it. I won't see you out. Night Sorrow didn't care about Gong Xianmoon's threat. After Gong Xianmoon left, Night Sorrow fell into deep thought. It was better to offend a gentleman than a villain. Gong Xianmoon was a villain, and she was also the little princess of a manor. She had a lot of power and was troublesome. However, it was impossible for Night Sorrow to compromise. That would be humiliating. As for women, Gong Xianmoon was very beautiful and sexy. However, Night Sorrow was a man of integrity. He also felt that Gong Xianmoon was dirty in human nature. He felt that any of his wives were more seductive than her. Thinking of this, Night Sorrow smiled. He felt very blessed. Lu Yun returned after Gong Xianmoon and Ghost Monkey left. Of course, she had also bought wine. She knew that Night Sorrow liked good wine. She didn't come for anything good, did she? Lu Yun opened a jar of wine and poured Night Sorrow a cup. She's not a good person. How could she be a good person? She can do whatever she wants. We'll live our lives as usual. Night Sorrow didn't care about today's matters at all. If it doesn't work, young master can just close the shop and refuse to see customers, Lu Yun said. There's no need. You don't have to worry. Night Sorrow shook his head at Lu Yun. Following that, Night Sorrow told Lu Yun that he would be away for 2 days. During these 2 days, he wouldn't accept any orders. He had accumulated a lot of materials during this time, and it wasn't safe to bring them with him. Sending them back to Star Moon Lake was a good choice. After informing Lu Yun, Yi Shang left the courtyard. He took a teleportation array and left Ethereal Imperial City. He wanted to see how things had developed over the past 2 months. He wanted to see how things had developed at Star Moon Lake. Although there was a teleportation array, it was still a long way from Ethereal Imperial City to Greenwater City and then to Star Moon Lake. After teleporting for a while, Night Sorrow arrived at Greenwater City. After leaving Greenwater City, Night Sorrow set up a teleportation array 20,000 miles away from Greenwater City. Then, he used an illusion array to hide it. This way, when he reached Star Moon Lake, he could set up a teleportation array to connect to it. It would be convenient for him to return to Ethereal Imperial City. When he arrived at Star Moon Island, Night Sorrow discovered that the central area of the island had changed. There were green mountains and clear waters, and a lake in the middle of the island. The scenery was pleasant. The City Lord's mansion had been built. It was a rather impressive 3-story building. When Night Sorrow returned, someone immediately came to welcome him. When he saw his wife, Datura, Night Sorrow smiled. You're back. How is this place? I don't think it's a commercial city. So, it's mainly built to be habitable. Datura said. Sure. Night Sorrow nodded. He didn't have any objections. That's your place. It should be where our house is. The craftsman came by Night Moon. Datura pointed into the distance. Although he couldn't see it with his eyes, Night Sorrow's soul force was strong. He immediately probed it. It was an area filled with green trees and vines. There were also several buildings inside. Very good. It's very artistic. Very tasteful. Night Sorrow was quite satisfied. In the completed City Lord's mansion, Night Sorrow discussed the situation with everyone. He also took out the inheritance of alchemy and blacksmithing. Domain Lord, it's better for you to take care of Tier 9 items. It's useless for us. Tang Jianfeng said. That's fine. This time, I'm here to return some of the more precious resources. Night Sorrow said. Then, everyone chatted. Night Sorrow told them about his situation in Ethereal Imperial City. Chapter 1549. Ah Luo, there's still danger, Night Sorrow said. Doppelganger, it doesn't matter. The main thing is that I want to be by your side when you're fighting. Datura didn't care that there were other people in the city lord's mansion and directly spoke his mind. That's fine too. Knight Sorrow nodded. He didn't want to disappoint Mandala. Something happened. If something happened, he could shoulder it. As long as he was alive, he would protect Datura's safety. Knight Sorrow's original body came out of seclusion and received the resources that Knight Sorrow brought back. Then, he and Datura returned to their new home, which was actually a manor. The manor was located in the best place on Star Moon Island. The scenery was beautiful and grand, and the pavilions were all very unique. Ah Luo, you spent a lot of effort on this place. It wasn't easy to build it, Knight Sorrow said after taking a look. Star Moon Island is the base of our primal chaos realm in the celestial realm. What's the signboard here? One is the city lord's mansion, and the other is the residence of the domain lord, Datura said. Knight Sorrow didn't refute. He really did need a stable residence. While drinking tea and chatting, Knight Sorrow asked Datura's original body to come over as well. There shouldn't be a problem with the safety of this place. This way, both of their original bodies could cultivate together in the Haotian Godly Pagoda. With the Haotian Godly Pagoda, Knight Sorrow's cultivation and strength improved by leaps and bounds. When his doppelganger went out for a few months, his original body would cultivate for dozens of years. In addition, the Haotian Godly Pagoda had the ability to seize the fortune of heaven and earth. When cultivating inside, not only would time accelerate, it could also clear the soul of the person cultivating inside. The secondary body had the ability to accelerate time by 50 times, but it wasn't as good at seizing the fortune of heaven and earth. There was a fundamental difference. At this time, Knight Sorrow's will of spacetime had already reached the level 8 king realm. His comprehension of the will of destruction had also reached 30%. After chatting with Datura for a while, Knight Sorrow took the teleportation array to the city in the sky. After seeing his other wives, parents and children, he returned to Star Moon Island. After his original body entered the Haotian Godly Pagoda to cultivate, his doppelganger took Datura's doppelganger and left Star Moon Island. While flying with Datura, Knight Sorrow turned his head to look at Datura's beautiful face. I'm really worried about bringing you out. I'm afraid that other people will have other thoughts. I'll just wear a veil when the time comes, Datura said as she hugged Knight Sorrow's arm. Then I'll help you refine something that isolates you from detection. Knight Sorrow said. He had suitable materials in his hands. He had some level 8 ice silk. After arriving at Misty Imperial City, Knight Sorrow took Datura to his small courtyard. Hee, although it's a bit small, it's not bad, Datura said with a smile after entering the courtyard. Young master is back. It was already night time, and Lu Yun had already returned from the stall. Lu Yun, let me introduce you. This is my wife, Aluo. Aluo, this is Lu Yun. She's now my assistant in the stall. Knight Sorrow introduced both parties. Lu Yun greets madam. Lu Yun bowed to Datura. She was very shocked. She thought that a young master like Knight Sorrow would have a beautiful wife, but Datura's appearance still shocked her. Don't be too polite. It's been hard on you during this period. Datura nodded. Then, Knight Sorrow entered the 8-dragon cauldron and spent the night refining a veil. If one wasn't an Emperor Realm cultivator, they wouldn't be able to see Datura's appearance. In the morning, the three of them arrived at the shop. Lin Mu and the others were surprised to see Knight Sorrow bringing a woman. Knight Sorrow introduced her as his wife, and everyone greeted her. Knight Sorrow was already respected in this area. In addition, Datura was also a heaven monarch. His aura had already surpassed the heaven monarch realm. Everyone knew that he was an expert. This time, it was Datura who sat at the front to receive customers who wanted to refine weapons and elixirs. After Jiang Yu arrived, she was stunned for a moment because the reception had changed. You are? Jiang Yu looked at Datura who was wearing a veil and asked. Young Lady Jiang. This is young master's wife. Madam, this is young master's friend, young Lady Jiang. Lu Yun introduced both parties. Datura and Jiang Yu nodded at each other. Both of them were arrogant. Jiang Yu was the little princess of one of the 7 prefectures. She had a noble status and wouldn't even lower her head when meeting an emperor. As for Datura, he had ruled over a region for countless years and had the aura of a king. It was even said that it had nothing to do with cultivation. Not to mention cultivation, just the aura on his body was very intimidating. At this moment, Knight Sorrow finished refining a cauldron of elixirs and came out. Young Lady Zhang is here. Come in and have some tea. Knight Sorrow said to Zhang Yu. Knight Sorrow brought Zhang Yu and Datura to the back hall and brewed a pot of tea. Young Lady Zhang, this is my wife, so she is also your friend. You don't have to be too formal. Luo, this is young Lady Zhang whom I am more familiar with. Knight Sorrow introduced her solemnly. Zhang Yu looked at Datura. Madam Yi, why are you wearing a veil? Knight Sorrow is worried that I am too eye-catching. Datura reached out and took off the veil. Celestial Master Yi is right. You are too beautiful. Coupled with your temperament and figure, you are indeed too eye-catching. Zhang Yu said with a smile. She had imagined that Datura's face under the veil would be beautiful, but she didn't expect it to be a beauty that could topple cities. Young Lady Zhang is joking. Datura said with a smile. To look at LC edition R, chapter T above 7. 1-inch toppling cities with a smile, Celestial Master Yi, I take back what I said to you that day. With such a wife, it is useless to tempt you during the Gongxian month. Zhang Yu said. Hee, but Knight Sorrow understands your good intentions. Knight Sorrow said with a smile. Your name is Knight Sorrow. What a good name. I only knew Celestial Master Yi in the past, but I didn't know your name. Your hometown is really full of outstanding people. You and your wife are so outstanding. Zhang Yu said with a smile. Young Lady Zhang is too kind. Datura said. After inviting Knight Sorrow and Datura to the Zhang residence, Zhang Yu left. This is a good friend. Datura said. It's all right. He doesn't have any petty heart. Knight Sorrow said his evaluation of Zhang Yu. While the two were talking, guests arrived outside. Datura also put on a veil. She didn't want to cause any trouble. She wasn't afraid of trouble, but this was ethereal imperial city, a place full of experts. In addition, she didn't want to cause trouble for Knight Sorrow. The two came out from the back hall and saw a young man in embroidered clothes. He stood in front of the stall with a few guards and said something to Lu Yun. Young master, madam, this guest wants to refine armor, but he has a lot of requests. Lu Yun said. He has a lot of requests. If we can't do it, we won't accept it. Please ask this young master to look elsewhere. Knight Sorrow said. After coming out and seeing the situation, Knight Sorrow knew what was going on. The troublemaker was Gong Xian because Gong Xian and Ghost Monkey were on the second floor of the restaurant across the street. Chapter 1550. Just because you said you won't take it, you think you're doing business? The man in the brocade robe asked. Yes, I said I won't take it. I'm doing business, but I don't care about other people's feelings. Knight Sorrow looked at the man in the brocade robe and said, I'm Yang Yu of the Sky Sun Mansion, and I want to refine an armor here. I'm giving you face, so you have to accept it. Yang Yu looked coldly at Knight Sorrow. I'm sorry, I've never heard of you, so you don't have any face here. Knight Sorrow shook his head. Since he was looking for trouble, he didn't need to be polite. You want to die? Let me tell you, offending me won't end well. Or you can bring your 2 women back for me to play with. You were disrespectful just now, but I won't take it to heart. Yang Yu's gaze landed on Datura. Bring all the women in your family, your sisters, your wives, and whatever. Let my husband play with them first. Datura was furious. If this wasn't ethereal imperial city, she would have attacked directly. Yong Jo 9 R Free Look 5B little M said. You're sharp-tongued. I like it. Haha. Yang Yu laughed. Scram. Knight Sorrow reached out and pulled out the space splitter spear from his back. Ethereal imperial city forbade fighting, but it was still very humane. If someone was looking for trouble, then the victim could attack if he felt that he was in the right. In a fight, no matter who had the upper hand, if they were caught by the patrol, then the guilty party would be beheaded. Otherwise, if a supremacy spat in the face of a Sky Lord or an Emperor, the world would be in chaos. How dare you? You dare to fight with me? Yongyu glared at Night Sorrow and roared. What's wrong? This is the territory of the Zhonglan Manor. Are you bigger than the Zhonglan Manor or the rules of ethereal imperial city? I'll ask you one more time, are you going to scram or not? Night Sorrow's energy circulated. As long as Yongyu said no, he would attack. Yongyu, that's enough. Gong Xianyu came out. She knew that if she didn't make a move, then war would follow. Didn't you want to kill him? Yongyu said as he hooked his arm around Gong Xian's shoulder. Hee, why are you in such a hurry? If the business fails, he'll have nothing to eat. Gong Xian Moon looked at Night Sorrow and said. She hated Night Sorrow now. She had washed herself clean and delivered herself to his door for him to pluck, but in the end, she was chased out of the door. Her face was slapped resoundingly. All of you, stay here and watch. Whoever asks him to refine pills or weapons, remember them and kill them. Kid, you don't believe me? This young master has a lot of subordinates. It's fine to exchange their avatars for their lives. This young master can provide resources for those who lose their avatars to cultivate new ones. Is it simple? Haha. Yongyu hugged Gong Xianyu's shoulder and left Night Sorrow's shop. Shameless villain. If you don't rely on your family, then you're trash. Datura said angrily. It's nothing. If there's business, then we'll do it. If there's no business, then we'll rest. Haha. Night Sorrow said with a smile. Night Heaven Master, you've offended someone. If you can't do it, then find another place to live. Lin Mu said. Don't be afraid. It's nothing. Night Sorrow said. Lin Mu nodded. At this moment, he understood that Night Sorrow had pride in his bones. He wouldn't compromise like this. Gong Xianyu and Yongyu didn't leave. They went to the restaurant opposite Night Sorrow's shop to drink wine. Xianyu, why are you pulling me? So what if we smash his stall? Don't tell me you've taken a fancy to him? Haha. I don't mind. As long as you're happy, then we'll kill him. Yongyu said with a smile. Yongyu had a wife. Besides, even if he didn't, he wouldn't marry the promiscuous Gong Xianyu. Gong Xianyu naturally wouldn't marry Yongyu because she wouldn't be valued. The two of them were just playing around and didn't want to get in each other's way. This young lady is doing this for your own good. That guy's fighting strength is very strong. If you fight, would it be worth it? Just let your subordinates deal with him slowly. Gong Xianyu said. All right, I'll listen to you. Slowly play him to death. He's just a piece of trash. Fighting with our 7 prefectures, he should look at himself first. Yongyu scolded. There was no business. Other than the first business in the morning, no one else came. Because if someone wanted to refine pills, Yongyu's dog paw would appear and chase them away with the Heavenly Sun Prefecture's token. Night Sorrow, how do you plan to deal with him? Datura asked Night Sorrow, who was drinking tea. Kill. I'll kill one a day until they don't provoke me anymore. Yishang put down the teacup in his hand. His words were very soft, but Mandela, who knew him well, knew that Yishang wanted to kill him. Young master, it's dangerous. Lu Yun's expression changed when she heard Night Sorrow's words. She was a slave and had heard a lot about the 7 prefectures in the slave market. However, Night Sorrow had already made his move. He waved his hand and threw out the sky-piercing spear that he hadn't used in a long time. The sky-piercing spear, supported by the will of spacetime, instantly streaked across the sky and pierced through the head of one of Yongyu's subordinates who was blocking a customer. This subordinate was only a monarch and didn't even have the chance to react. Night Sorrow's dragon tendon shook and the sky-piercing spear spun around. The spearhead pierced the man's left hand and shattered it. The sky-piercing spear returned to Night Sorrow's side with the storage ring. Do you want to die? Yongyu, who was standing in a restaurant on the opposite side of the street, shouted. Don't be angry with me. This is only the first. If you delay my business for a day, I'll kill one more. How do you want to fight? I'll accompany you. You want to bring people to kill me? Do you dare? Night Sorrow rinsed the storage ring he just obtained with tea and put it away. At this moment, the lively treasure-seeking street was dead silent. It was impossible to tell who was stronger now. Yang Yu and the others who bullied Night Sorrow were suppressed by Night Sorrow's aura. "I'll kill you." Yang Yu was furious. This was a slap in the face. Night Sorrow was slapping his face. He wanted to kill his people and kill one a day. However, Yang Yu was held back by Gong Xianyu. She was worried that Yang Yu wasn't a match for Night Sorrow. If something happened, it wouldn't be good for her. "If I'm afraid of you bunch of monsters, I wouldn't have come to the Ethereal Empire. Today, I'll say this. I'll do my job well. Whoever dares to provoke me, I'll give it a try. Put away your cheap face. Lu Yun, pack up and go home." Night Sorrow said to Lu Yun. "Don't go home. Didn't we agree that I'll hold a welcoming dinner for a Luo today?" Jiang Yu appeared. "Sure." Night Sorrow nodded to Jiang Yu. Jiang Yu stood out now, which meant that he didn't want to stay out of this and wasn't afraid of trouble. Gong Xianyu's face turned pale. Night Sorrow was obviously scolding her when he said, "Put away your cheap face." Night Sorrow left with Dachira and Lu Yun. Today, Jiang Yu was accompanied by 2 guards who were heaven monarchs. Chapter 1551. Celestial Master Knight is so domineering. I really couldn't tell. Jiang Yu, who had left Treasure Hunter Street, said, "There's no other way. They won't let me live." Night Sorrow said, "It's indeed difficult to deal with. Gong Xian is thick-skinned and doesn't care about his reputation. Secondly, he's unscrupulous." Jiang Yu glanced behind him and said, "I know that. When she left my place that day, I knew she wouldn't let it go." Night Sorrow said, "She went to your place?" Jiang Yu asked in surprise. "Yes, she brought Ghost Monkey with her. However, Ghost Monkey didn't show up. She went alone." Night Sorrow nodded. "Then she's there to deliver you meat," Jiang Yu said with a smile. "What meat?" Dachira asked, puzzled. "Ah Luo, this is what you don't understand. She's looking for Yi Shang to give him her body. What else could it be?" Jiang Yu said with a laugh. "Ah Luo, don't look at me like that. I just chased her out." Night Sorrow said to Dachira, who was looking at him with a pair of beautiful eyes. "You don't have the guts." Dachira said. "Ah Luo, you're good at training your husband." Jiang Yu said to Dachira. "That's not it. Night Sorrow is very self-disciplined. Besides, he has several wives at home. He's too busy to deal with them. He doesn't have the time to flirt with other women." Dachira said. "It's to reassure you that I sent a clone out to explore." Night Sorrow said. "A clone of his strength is very fierce," Jiang Yu said after glancing at Night Sorrow. Although she had analyzed that Night Sorrow might be a clone, she couldn't be sure because she hadn't investigated it. Now that she was sure that Night Sorrow was a clone, Jiang Yu was very shocked because Night Sorrow killed a heaven monarch with one move that day. It was a demonstration of his strength. They didn't go to the Kanglin mansion mainly because Night Sorrow didn't like it. The 3 of them went to a restaurant. Jiang Yu treated Night Sorrow and Luo to a meal. New fastest and previous $1, Lu Yun, have a seat. Luo and I don't care about this. Miss Jiang doesn't mind it either. Night Sorrow Lu Yun's tea mind. "Young master, this is not appropriate." Lu Yun shook his head. "It's nothing. There are no messy rules in our family." "Miss Jiang, do you mind?" Mandela asked Jiang Yu. "I don't mind. This is what I admire about you guys," Jiang Yu said. He was speaking from the bottom of his heart because there was a difference in status between rich and powerful families. Servants had no status. But Yi Shang was very amiable with Lu Yun. She had seen it all. After a feast, they had to part. Jiang Yu looked at Night Sorrow and said, "Tomorrow, I will send more people to Treasure-Seeking Street. If you have the confidence, then fight. If you don't, then bear with it. They are not in the right and will not take the initiative to attack." Night Sorrow nodded. This was Jiang Yu's good intention. He couldn't reject it. After parting with Jiang Yu, Night Sorrow called for a beast carriage. The 3 of them sat in the beast carriage and headed to the side courtyard. "Night Sorrow, as long as we have the confidence, we will fight. At most, we won't stay in Ethereal Imperial City. Take Lu Yun and let's go home." Datura said. It's fine. The Arch-Realm cultivators respect their status. If they are not in the right, they won't attack easily. Why should we be afraid if they are not in the Arch-Realm? I will kill as many as they come. Knight Sorrow shook his head. He wouldn't leave ethereal Imperial City. At this moment, in a very majestic mansion, Wufeng was sitting in the main seat and listening to a servant's report. No class. There aren't many in the next generation of the 7 prefectures that can accomplish anything, Wufeng muttered after hearing the report. Then what should I do? The servant bowed and asked. Take my message, Crystal. If no great emperors appear, don't worry about anything. If any great emperors appear, crush them. Go. Edgeless tossed a message crystal to his subordinate and disappeared from the hall. Wufeng felt that he owed Knight Sorrow a favor. He also admired Knight Sorrow. So, he sent people to Treasure-Seeking Street to watch. He already knew everything that happened today. But if the Arch-Realm cultivators appeared, he didn't want to interfere. Back in the courtyard, Knight Sorrow chatted with Datura. He took out the maps, letters, and notes he obtained for Datura. Since Datura was here, he had to understand this place. Datura studied the letters while Knight Sorrow went to refine pills. He had some ingredients that could be turned into Junyuan pills and Junhua pills. There were many King Realm cultivators in the 9-domain world. Junyuan pills were the best choice for cultivation. Of course, Junhua pills were better. After refining for an entire night, Yi Shang had refined quite a few pills. In the morning, while Knight Sorrow was washing up, Datura came to Knight Sorrow's side with a towel. Knight Sorrow, I plan to go to the God Devil Castle. If possible, I want to join. Knight Sorrow was stunned. Datura's decision surprised him. But then he felt that it was reasonable. Datura was also a person who wanted to improve. Sure, but don't force yourself. If you can join, then join. If you can't, then so be it. Knight Sorrow said. However, Datura planned to wait a few days. There would be a battle on Treasure-Seeking Street today. She wanted to accompany Knight Sorrow. Yang Yu was a domineering person. Now that he had suffered, he naturally wouldn't let it go. When Knight Sorrow, Datura, and Lu Yun arrived at Treasure-Seeking Street, it was already very lively. Knight Sorrow opened the door of his stall and started business. Lu Yun stood at the front while Knight Sorrow and Datura sat beside him. The two of them set up a small table and drank tea while chatting. Knight Sorrow discovered that there were many people in the restaurant opposite the stall. Many of them were unfamiliar faces. Yang Yu and Gong Xianmoon were also there. Young master, there are many people here today, Lu Yun said worriedly. Most of them are here to watch the show. If they were also their people, they wouldn't have occupied such a good spot. This isn't something I can do, Knight Sorrow said. Datura nodded. Knight Sorrow's words made sense. The people in the restaurant were drinking and chatting as if they didn't see Gong Xianmoon and Yang Yu. There was no one in front of the shop. One had to know that at this time, people would usually line up to ask Knight Sorrow to refine elixirs and weapons. Knight Sorrow knew that they had been chased away. Now, there were 3 heavenly lords near Knight Sorrow's stall. At this time, there were people who came because of the reputation and didn't know the situation. They walked towards Knight Sorrow's shop. Yang Yu had instructed the people to intercept this situation. Of course, they couldn't just stand by and watch. An old man stopped a middle-aged man who was walking towards the stall. If you don't want to die, get lost. This place is not open for business. This sentence was like a stone that stirred up 1,000 ripples. Knight Sorrow moved. Chapter 1552. Yang Yu had already made his stance clear. He wanted to make sure that Knight Sorrow had no place to stand. Hence, he made a big fuss. Today, 3 heaven monarchs and a team of sovereigns were in charge of sealing off Knight Sorrow's shop. Knight Sorrow wanted to counterattack. Naturally, he didn't care about the opponent's cultivation level. Rushing out of the shop, Knight Sorrow executed the afterimage body. A few afterimages pounced on the other 2 heaven monarchs to stop them from helping. Then, he executed the Great Death Destruction Slash with a space-splitting spear. After the Great Death Destruction Slash, he executed the Crescent Blade of the Soul Extermination Slash. The old man who was intercepting Night Sorrow's customers was alerted when Night Sorrow made his move. He took out his battle saber and slashed in the direction where Night Sorrow was coming from. The fiery red saber light was like a fire dragon as it rushed towards Night Sorrow. However, the same counterattack lost its effect when Night Sorrow's body flashed. At the same time, Night Sorrow's great death destruction slash produced a black halo that enveloped the old man's head. The crescent blade of the soul extermination slash also slashed towards his head. Night Sorrow had overestimated his opponent. Originally, he executed the soul extermination slash to disturb his opponent's soul spirit. However, his opponent was too weak. The crescent blade directly cut through the old man's soul spirit defense and cut into his divine sea. This was fatal. Moreover, Night Sorrow's space-splitting spear attack followed closely behind. Following the explosion, the old man's head was pierced through by Night Sorrow's space-splitting spear and exploded. A one-hit kill. Although the opponent was a heaven monarch, it didn't stop Night Sorrow's one-hit kill. Night Sorrow stretched out his left hand and used his energy to break the old man's left finger. He took the storage ring and waved the space-splitting spear. He then looked at the two heaven monarchs who destroyed his afterimages. The two heaven monarchs' faces changed. They held their weapons and looked at Night Sorrow. They were so shocked by the death of their companion that they forgot to attack. If you delay my business for a day, I'll kill one person. Lu Yun, pack up. If anyone dares to attack us, call the patrols and let them deal with them. Night Sorrow returned to his stall with the Void Splitter Spear. Yes. Lu Yun nodded. She was very excited. What was domineering? This was domineering. Fellow Taoists, I'm still doing business. I'm here every day to receive everyone. I'll kill anyone who tries to stop me from doing business. As I said before, I'll kill one person for every day you delay my business. Just wait for me. Night Sorrow cupped his fists at the onlookers. No one moved, and Yang Yu did not give the order to attack. He did not dare to give the order to attack Night Sorrow. Because if Night Sorrow really called for the patrol team, then his men would be completely annihilated. The team that he personally brought with him was no match for the House of Azure Water's patrol team. If they could hold off one team, then a second team would quickly arrive. Pack up and leave. Night Sorrow left the stall with Dachura and Lu Yun. He walked very confidently, as if he was not there to do business, but to kill someone. Applause. Applause rang out in Treasure-Seeking Street. These stall owners had relatively low statuses and did not have any backing. Therefore, they were often suppressed and bullied. Now that Night Sorrow had made a move and made a strong counterattack, he had helped everyone vent their anger. Night Sorrow left with his wife and servants. The onlookers knew that this was the end of the day. Night Sorrow's stall was packed up. Yang Yu wanted to stop the customers, but he could not. His face had already fallen to the ground. The crowd dispersed, and Treasure-Seeking Street returned to normal. Jiang Yu, who was also in the restaurant opposite Night Sorrow's stall, turned her head to look at Gong Xian Yu and Yang Yu, then left with a smile. She had arranged for a large number of troops to be stationed at Treasure-Seeking Street today. If anyone attacked Night Sorrow would call the authorities and the patrols would immediately appear. Moreover, they would be very strong. This was also the reason why Gong Xian Yu and Yang Yu did not continue to attack. They knew very well what was going on. After Night Sorrow left, the onlookers dispersed as well. The news was spread. Wufeng smiled after hearing the report. Killing one a day. He has a very stubborn personality. There's no benefit in going against a cultivator of the body of merit. Emperor, the confrontation tomorrow will be even more intense. Sky Sun Prefecture and Guanyue Prefecture will not allow themselves to lose face. I wonder if Night Sorrow will be able to withstand it, said the man in black. He was Wufeng's personal attendant, Duan Yu. He has made his voice heard, but whether or not he can stand still depends on his strength. Even if I want to help him, I can only help him resist the pressure from the higher-ups. He'll have to deal with those below the Emperor realm himself, said Wufeng. He had his own principles. An imperial emperor also had his dignity and integrity. Duan Yu nodded. He also understood this principle. After Night Sorrow left, Yang Yu and Gong Xian Yu also left. The two of them went to a tea house to drink tea and discuss how to deal with the situation. Both of them had lost face today. Q update V new fastest S. XL, he's very strong. It's very difficult for an ordinary person to deal with him. We have to hire an expert to kill him, even if it's just crippling him, said Gong Xianyu. I'll bring my god commander tomorrow. I don't believe we can't kill him. Let's consider him lucky today and let him live one more day. Yang Yu's face was gloomy. He was one of the young masters of Sky Sun Prefecture and could not afford to lose face like this. Gong Xianyu nodded. Then, he agreed to meet Yang Yu here tomorrow and left with Ghost Monkey. After leaving the tea house, Gong Xianyu looked at Ghost Monkey and asked, Ghost Monkey, how confident are you in defeating him? It's hard to say, but I'm confident in myself. Ghost Monkey nodded. I don't know if Yang Yu can do it. We have to be prepared. If Yang Yu can't do it, we'll take action. Gong Xianyu said. She had to plan for both sides. After strolling around the streets, Night Sorrow and the other two returned to the villa. Night Sorrow, that mansion for sale is not bad, but it costs 1,000,000 Saint Spirit stones. That price is too terrifying. Datura, you said. When the three of them were shopping, they saw a mansion for sale, but the price was exorbitant. 1,000,000 Saint Spirit stones. We can afford it, but we haven't established a firm foothold yet. It's not safe to pay such a high price, said Night Sorrow Yu. In order to establish a foothold in ethereal imperial city, wealth was one thing, but strength was also very important. Otherwise, it was normal to be killed or robbed. After resting for a night, Night Sorrow Yu and the other two went to Treasure-Seeking Street again. Difficulties were in front of them, but Night Sorrow Yu was not a coward. It was his character to face difficulties head-on. There were many onlookers, even more than yesterday. The world of cultivators was like this. If something happened, it could not be hidden from others. No one stopped looking for Night Sorrow Yu to concoct pills or refine equipment just because his store was being suppressed. No one was afraid. The people from Sky Sun Prefecture and Moon Gazing Prefecture would at most expel them. If they dared to kill them, the Azure Water Prefecture would not tolerate it. Night Sorrow Yu's store opened. Just as everyone was waiting for Night Sorrow Yu to start his killing spree, there was a change. A rather dispirited young man appeared with a blade in his hand. Yang Yu's subordinates went to stop him, but the young man simply swung his blade. Blade light flashed across the sky, and those who tried to stop him were cut in half by the dispirited young man. Chapter 1553. The man's hair was disheveled, and his aura was dispirited. However, his aura was very strong, just like the sword in his hand. He was an 8-star king, but he could kill sovereigns. Night Sorrow could tell that he used his spirit to activate the sword, which was different from using the saber of destiny. You are courting death. How dare you kill my men? Yang Yu's body flashed and flew out of the restaurant opposite. He landed not far from the dispirited young man with his weapon out of its sheath. As the saying goes, a good dog doesn't block the way. If your men block the way, they should be killed. Since you dare to touch him, I will call the patrol team. Let's see if they will do anything. Night Sorrow walked out of the stall. The dispirited young man could be said to be helping him kill someone. He couldn't sit back and do nothing. Night Sorrow, I will kill you. I will. Hearing that Night Sorrow was going to call the patrol team, Yang Yu was so angry that his face turned green. However, he didn't dare to do anything. He thought that he was weak and didn't want to provoke the patrol team. If he wanted to kill someone, he had subordinates. This is not the first time you have said this. We will treat it as bullshit. Brother, come here. Datura waved at the dispirited young man. I am still taking orders today. Let's see if anyone dares to stop me. Well, if anyone dares to stop me, I will kill one more and then close the stall. Night Sorrow glanced at Yang Yu and said, Me. At this time, someone shouted. Yang Yu could only stop them, but he couldn't kill them. Therefore, he couldn't scare them. However, at this time, a man in black swung his sword at Night Sorrow's back. He was a heaven monarch. When someone shouted that they wanted to refine something, Yang Yu gave his subordinate a look. He was in a dilemma. Instead of letting Night Sorrow make the first move, he might as well send someone to do it first. How dare you sneak and attack? Go to hell. Datura attacked with her hollow blade and directly used the death destruction slash. Right now, Dachura's strength was different from before. After absorbing the essence left behind by Dachura Chinensis, she had already surpassed the Heaven Monarch realm. A black light flashed and landed on the Heaven Monarch's body. The moment the Heaven Monarch lost his ability to react, Dachura's hollow blade landed on his head. A single slash had the same effect as the dispirited man. The only difference was that the opponent he killed was of a different level. Night Sorrow said to Dachura and the dispirited man, "Aluo, it's about time for today. Let's go home and have some tea. Brothers, let's go together. If I can help you, I won't be stingy." Packing up and leaving, Night Sorrow's group left Treasure-Seeking Street. The furious Yang Yu and Nangong Yu were left behind. They didn't expect Night Sorrow's wife to be so strong. Night Sorrow and the others left, and today's matter came to an end. Night Sorrow led the group into a restaurant and ordered a table of dishes. "Brother, have a seat. Let's talk. What do you need my help with?" Night Sorrow said to the dispirited man standing at the side. "My sister was poisoned, so I came out of the vast wilderness to find a solution. I went to many places, but I don't have the resources and can't pay the price. Also, no one can cure the Sky Scorpion's poison," the dispirited man said. "The Sky Scorpion's poison is harmful to the body. What level is the Sky Scorpion?" Night Sorrow asked. He knew a little about the Sky Scorpion. It was a strange poison. It was fine if it was of a low level, but if it was of a high level, it was almost impossible to cure. It's not a high level, but it is a very rare blood Sky Scorpion. I wonder if Lord Night Sorrow can cure it? The dispirited man asked. "I can try, but I don't know how effective it is. After all, I haven't seen your sister's condition," Night Sorrow said. "Ji Dao pleads for your help, Lord." The dispirited man, Ji Dao, bowed to Night Sorrow. "This is a colored glass pill. Its detoxification effect is not bad. You can try it. Here are 2 life spirit pills. It can help with recovery." Night Sorrow took out a few pills and handed them to Ji Dao. "Thank you, Lord. Ji Dao will first send the pills back to the vast wilderness, then return. Ji Dao's life is yours. If Ji Dao doesn't return, I am willing to accept the wrath of the heavens." Ji Dao knelt on one knee and swore a heavenly oath. "First, there's no need for that, you can go. Treating your sister's injuries is more important." Night Sorrow raised his arm and used energy to bind Ji Dao. Ji Dao has something on his mind. "I have to leave now. Please forgive me, Lord." Ji Dao bowed to Night Sorrow. "Go back quickly. This matter is urgent." Night Sorrow nodded to Ji Dao. Ji Dao then left. He was indeed in a hurry. This Ji Dao is very strong. He should be from a special race in the vast wilderness. Dachura said. He has the quintessential energy cultivation of an 8-star sovereign king, but his soul power is at the heavenly monarch level. That's why he can easily kill a sovereign with his soul power, Yishang said. He was lucky to be able to meet young master and madam. Otherwise, without resources, how could he get the pills? Lu Yun said. Men need to have a sense of responsibility. They need to protect their family at all costs. This is worthy of respect. If you can help, then help. It is also a good karma. Who doesn't have a difficult time? Night Sorrow said. Helping Ji Dao cost him a few pills, but Night Sorrow didn't feel bad at all. He felt that it was worth it. Just based on what Ji Dao said, it was worth it. 1 or 2 pills are nothing to us, but to him, they are life-saving. It wasn't easy for him to travel across mountains and rivers to come out of the vast wilderness. Dachura was also very emotional. After Yang Yu and Gong Xianmoon ransacked an inn, they began to discuss how to deal with Night Sorrow. Where is your guard commander? Can you not send trash to die? Don't you think it's embarrassing? This is a blow to our morale and boost others' prestige. Gong Xianmoon said as she tidied up her skirt. My guard commander went to do something and will be back in 2 days. This is not just my problem. You have to help too. Yang Yu said. I believe in you. You can definitely handle it. Isn't he just a bumpkin without any background? Gong Xianmoon glanced at Yang Yu and said. If it doesn't work, we can go to the Divine Devil Castle for a mission. If we really want to kill him, it will be as easy as squashing an ant. Yang Yu glanced at Gong Xianmoon and said. He didn't want to spend too much money. A mission in the Divine Devil Castle wasn't something that could be solved with just a few Saint Spirit stones. Then what do you think we should do now? Gong Xianmoon didn't want to embarrass herself anymore. She felt that she had lost all her face in the past 2 days. Go to his residence. Tonight, we will arrange for a few heavenly monarchs to kill him. Yang Yu spoke his mind. But the patrol team is a problem. Gong Xianmoon didn't want to break the rules of the ethereal imperial city. It was set by the Battle Emperor. It was an imperial edict, and the 7 prefecture lords were the executors. You're tuning in to the Xiaofan's Wuxia Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.